It's time for Twit This Week in Tech. It's our annual CES wrap-up, and we have three great hosts who were at CES this year. Father Robert, Padre SJ, Jennifer Pattison-Toohey from The Verge, and Jason Heiner. CES, it turns out, was a pretty interesting show this year, from robots that fall over to toilets that take pictures of your business. We will cover it, all of it, next on Twit.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Twit, This Week in Tech, episode 1066, recorded Sunday, January 11th, 2026. A supercomputer in your pocket. It's time for Twit This Week in Tech. Hello, everybody. Time to talk about the week's tech news. And, of course, this week was CES. And so we have our traditional yearly CES panel. Jennifer Pattison-Toohey is here. She is a senior reviewer at The Verge and covered all sorts of stuff at CES. How many days at CES did you spend?
Oh, gosh. I got there on Saturday and left on Friday.
That's too long.
It's too long.
I'm sure you felt the same way.
Yes, I did.
One of our regulars, Scott Wilkinson, wears a pedometer at CES every year and covers 30 miles typically. I mean, just a huge, a lot of footsore.
It can be pretty exhausting, but it's also like, for a tech nerd, it's like the Oscars and Christmas and the Super Bowl all at once.
Well, maybe this year, yeah. Also with us, Jason Heiner. He is former editor-in-chief at ZDNet, now editor-in-chief at The Deep View, which is an AI website and newsletter, which you should subscribe to because it's free. And actually, Jason is making his second appearance this week. You called us from McCarran Airport at Vegas as you were leaving Las Vegas on Wednesday.
Yes.
And we got a quick report, but now I want all the deets.
The full deal.
All the deets. And also with us, our annual reporter from CES, Father Robert Ballasare, the digital Jesuit. Many years now he's been. The only sad thing is in years past when I had a studio, you would come with a bag full of stuff.
Of goodies, yeah.
Where is that bag now?
That bag is being raided by my parents. They like the blinky things. They really do. So they're taking those.
Oh, good.
But I did have a pedometer on me, and I did 43 miles this year.
OMG. Oh, now
I thought the bag was going to be at an undisclosed location in Vatican City. That would have been.
Robert's famous for wearing sandals. I hope you were wearing better shoes.
I had better shoes this year, although there is only one thing in the bag that I absolutely, positively, 100% will not share with anyone, and that is I don't know if I can even name it. It's an unreleased product that uses a brand new chipset that gives me a standalone supercomputer data center.
In your pocket?
Okay.
No.
Does it come with a nuclear reactor?
It's about the size of a book. But it's 256 gigabytes of memory connected to a next generation AI chip.
This is the next thing. I bought the framework desktop with the Strix Halo processor and 128 gigs for running local AIs. So this is the goal. This is where we're trying to go. I have to, before we go any farther though, of course, AI and robotics were the talk of the convention this year, and we'll talk a lot about this. We also have Robert's Casey Kasem style top 5 picks from CES. We'll start with number 5 and we'll end with number 1 later in the show. But before we do anything else, this is my pick from CES. Jennifer, you want to set this clip up?
So I spent my week at CES tracking down humanoid robots that could do my laundry. I had an inkling that this might be a theme, and it turned out it really was.
In past years, those robots have not been so great. In fact, one of them I know was actually being run by a human at the home office.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of humanoids in the news this year. It's been 2025 was a big year for humanoid robots coming into our homes and
bipedal, 2 hands.
Exactly.
A summit face.
But most of them have been controlled, as you say, by someone remotely. And the big thing here is, the hardware looks like it's ready. Like, these robots are really impressive looking. The ones I met, quite a few of them could had really good dexterity, but the issue is the software. And to your point,
and they're not autonomous yet.
So they are, but not. And on the show floor, they weren't because for logistical reasons.
Noisy radio signals are terrible.
Yeah, they can't kind of create
You don't
a
want
zone for
to
them.
damage any humans, that kind of thing.
Right. And most of them were being controlled by like Xbox remotes from someone like the man behind the curtain. And the one that we're about to meet was actually being held up by carabiners on a big frame before it was
Let's
let
take a look.
loose.
Yeah, it's like one of those steady cams.
Yeah,
He's got
so
a little...
this guy weighs 170 pounds, so he's hefty, and he's from a company called Xeroth, and he's called Jupiter, and he is designed to be a household robot. So
See, this is what scares me is if these aren't necessary, if they're not benign, it's like having a chimpanzee in your house. They have a lot of strength.
Yes.
And if they're not fully controlled, they could hurt you bad. Well, watch what happened. This is Jennifer was interviewing the robot, I guess.
Jupiter weighs 170 pounds and hurts when it falls on you.
Which it did.
No!
I didn't touch it.
Bot down.
It fell on you.
So I tried to reach, as it came towards me, my instinct was to try and help it, and stop it. And I put my hand out and oh my God.
It's heavy.
It really kind of tweaked my wrist. I slacked my team. I was like, I need to file a workers' comp claim.
Oh, you could
It
have.
makes you, you're a humanoidist, because if that was not a humanoid robot, you wouldn't have tried to catch it.
That's exactly right.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
If it were a big metal box falling over, you'd have run.
Just jump. I know, but yeah, it was, and then they all rushed around it, and it was very sad. I felt very bad for poor Jupiter in his big moment.
You can catch that on Jennifer's many articles on The Verge. That video is also on The Verge's front page. And if you want to see the actual event, it was 3 minutes and 40 seconds in.
But yes, this is one reason why they are not going to be in our homes anytime soon. I think the LG version, which we, was also big news, the Cloyd with the wheels, is a bit more realistic, except for if you have homes with stairs, that then becomes something of an issue. But yes, it was a lot of fun meeting all these robots, and I actually walked around. I carried a bottle of laundry detergent the entire show, asking each one if they could open it, because I'm like, if you're gonna do my laundry,
That's kind of critical.
you have to open my laundry bottle, and none of them were.
None of them could open it.
No one was willing to give it a go, sadly.
Were you using Tide Pods, or did you have?
No, you see, that's what they said.
They
well,
want
we could just do
pods.
pods. I'm like, well, I want you to open my laundry bottle.
What about the
No,
Downy?
no.
What about the Downy? You got to be able to open the bottle.
If it's going to be a home robot, it's got to be able to do the pickle jar test, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's the thing.
It felt like a kind of key. If it can't open a bottle, what is it going to be doing in my home?
I feel so bad for your family because you bring these home.
I know. I showed the video to my kids, and I showed them the SwitchBot one. I'm like, we're probably going to have that in our home, like in a few months. They're like,
Oh, mommy, no.
Bit terrifying.
I think the cats are going to be a little more perturbed than the kids. They're old enough.
The cats have gotten used to things because we have so many robot vacuums.
You still last time you were on, you liked that vacuum cleaner that couldn't get under your bed, but was at least a little smarter than the iRobot.
The Matic, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still like that. I think it's a great product.
Well, let's stick with robots for a little bit. Somebody's got to do a cut down of robots falling over, because there were multiple occasions when, besides the one that hit you, of robots attempting backflips. And there was one, he did a backflip. He kind of got wobbly, stood back up, but then his hand fell off, which is not good.
As it happens. I mean,
As happens. Then there's another robot I remember it just collapsed, it was like pickup sticks, like not just like your robot fell on its face like a human would. This robot just went like a rag doll.
Well, there's the one that just came running into the hall and started like punching people, and then punching in the air, and then I think punched itself in the face and knocked itself out. My colleague caught that one on video.
TKO.
I haven't actually seen the video.
It's probably not good for us to take too much human pleasure in the failings of these robots.
I know.
Of the robots.
Just thinking.
I was
They're
speaking to a
Marcus.
vendor in the West Hall who had a robot out, and she was telling me that they had turned off the more aggressive auto balancing features because unfortunately, when you turn all of that stuff on, robots, they'll try to move their limbs to rebalance when they're grossly off balance, and it looks like they're punching. It looks like they're attacking. So they said, as a safety measure near people, they turn those features off.
I think the leading robot company, at least in the U.S., there may be some Chinese companies that are ahead of it, is Boston Dynamics.
Yeah, and they had Atlas there.
Atlas
but
made
Atlas
its
is not
debut.
designed for the home. So Atlas is very much designed for factories, although they've hinted that there may be a home robot in its future. But so we didn't go visit Atlas because he can't do my laundry. But apparently its demo wasn't particularly impressive. The reporting on The Verge was, he just kind of walked out there and turned around and walked back, and there wasn't going on.
They've made a deal with Hyundai.
Right, and it's going to be in the factory down the road from me, so I'm excited to go check it.
You can go look at it, do the laundry at the Hyundai factory.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense because robots have been building cars for years. This is not new, not humanoid robots. Jason,
why are we so obsessed?
Yeah,
over
why are
humanoid? I don't get that.
Why are we so obsessed with robots?
With humanoid. I mean, it can be so much more functional if you don't worry about making it a humanoid form factor.
The future of robotics, and I think maybe that's why they're getting a little bit of a rebrand, and that CES was part of this, and certainly 2025 was a big part of it, of rebranding robots as physical AI. Meaning that they're, physical AI doesn't have to look like a human. Even the word robot has come to essentially mean humanoid robot to most people. And so physical AI means, AI that is embodied in some, way that in the real world that can do a number of things. And I'm gonna say something that really impressed me, and it's gonna sound maybe a little bit boring, but there was in the Siemens keynote, they talked about, and I saw a demo of this in North Hall. They had this PepsiCo robot that really, it was just, and I'll get to why it's actually revolutionary because it's going to sound dumb. It was basically a giant arm that picked up something from a skid, a product, either, drinks or chips or whatever, right? Bags, boxes, cartons of them, and move them from one thing to the other. No big deal, right? That's been happening for a long, long time. Very cool. Or, maybe not that cool. But what it was the difference was they now have this digital twin. So when you combine AI with world models and physical physics models, what it can do is, a lot of times it would take this robot in the past, somebody would design it, one team would design it, the other team would sort of get it and figure out how to put it in the real world. It would mess up things and it would run into things by accident. And they're like, okay, well, we've got to put the angle higher and all that. Well, with this new model, this digital twin model, it's called Digital Twin Composer. This was something that was announced at the show. It can not only help you design a robot or physical AI of different kinds, but it can help you simulate using the world models. It can help you simulate all of the things that it can do. And so with this robot arm, they said that when they brought it to CES to do the demo, they had never seen it before. They had not, used it to set up what the demo was going to do, but they simulated all on the world model. And so instead of what would have taken 2 days and 2 or 3 days and a bunch of engineers to stage it and make sure it worked right and all that, took less than 2 hours because they had already done all of it. They were able to simulate all of it. And so that's going to enable them with this sort of physical AI to deploy things in factories, in hospitals, in all kinds of assembly lines and other things, much, much faster and at a much higher scale and for a lot cheaper. And so sort of this influx of robotics is about to happen now, thanks to the combination of AI, but not just AI, but these sort of next generation models, these world models that are coming in, probably going to be one of the big trends of 2026.
Yeah, that's what the guys the interviews I did with the roboticists was like, they can't do what you want now, but very soon, using world models, they will just be able to watch you and then do what you do. So you just need to show the robot how to do the laundry, and it will then just do it. Like they were saying that's the sort of next step. And right now, I mean, SwitchBot was the other humanoid robot that we got to interact with, and they showed me some videos of they have like a huge warehouse in China with tons of little rooms where they've just got the robots doing things like making beds, doing the laundry, making breakfast, like just repeatedly to try and train them to do this. And then the thing that the CEO
SwitchBot is
Zeril
the
said,
one.
The one row, yes.
The one row, yeah.
One row. That's the one. They say they're going to ship that this year for under $10,000, and that will be in our homes this year. But then the Zeroth CEO told me that they train the robots on TikTok, which made me very worried.
So the robots will be doing dances while folding your laundry.
Very trendy
this
dances.
this is a kind of I don't want to say dead end, but this was the initiative some LLM AI companies took, which is to make tools that are human-like, right? Like chat. That's basically what chatbots are. So it's like you're interacting with a human, because they think that that's what we want. But it turns out, at least in my opinion, the most useful AI, whether it's robot or LLMs, isn't emulating humanity, but doing specific tasks.
Yeah. And that's what actually the end of my video summarizes. Like, we don't need a humanoid robot to do everything in our home. What we just need is the current robots we have in our homes to be better at what they do and maybe do a little more. So I actually saw a robot vacuum style, like it looks like a robot vacuum, but it had a larger arm, and this was at the Dreamy booth, and it could open the washing machine, load the clothes, move the clothes into the dryer, and then take the clothes out of the dryer and put it in the basket. And it had little cameras in it, so it could actually sort the laundry. So it could take, it could see the whites and the colors. It could even like analyze the washing labels so that it could make sure it puts the delicates on be able to do. So it's a concept robot. So it wasn't like something they kind of announced. It was just like in the corner of their booth. But it was like, this makes more sense to me. And in theory, it could roam around the house and pick up clothes for you too. But yeah, like you don't, the idea, and I spoke to the CEO of Roborock as well, who's the robot vacuum manufacturer. And he made the same point. He said, we're going to make the robots that we have in the homes better at what they do. So they're very, very good. And then maybe give them some additional capabilities. But so you'll maybe have 2 or 3 robots in your home doing your chores, but not one robot doing emulating everything. You. Although what LG's Cloyd demonstrated, which is what I think is much more realistic, and actually very much to your point, Jason, about being able to create, personalize AI, bring AI into your home, is it could connect to all your smart home appliances and control them. So it doesn't need to open the washing machine. It can just tell the washing machine to open because it's a smart home hub. It doesn't need to push the button to make the dishwasher run. It just turns the dishwasher on using smart home connectivity. Same thing with the oven, so it can control all the appliances. And so it's sort of orchestrating them for you, just like your smart home hub is. And then it fills in the gaps that the robots can't do themselves, which is perhaps like putting the croissant in the oven or taking the laundry out of the laundry machine.
Jennifer, did you see the one that goes up, that takes itself up or down the stairs?
Yes, the Roborock Rover. Yes, I think that was my robot pick of CES. I was like,
nice.
We finally did it. A robot vacuum that can not only climb stairs, but it can clean them too.
Yes, because everybody's got perfectly clean floors, but their stairs are disgusting.
The stairs are a mess, right? Yes. The stairs are a mess.
Yeah, so it can.
It's kind of cute. It's got like little lever legs. Yeah.
And it can leap as well, so it can kind of jump over things.
Now I'm scared.
I don't know if I want to jump in robot.
Just little leaps, just to get like over a transition between a room, because that's one of the challenges vacuums have in your home. They get stuck, on high transitions or big thick legs of chairs. So yeah, the Roborock Saros Rover, it's a concept, but they say it will be coming to market.
It'll come,
and it goes up. It's quite slow, but not not really slow, not as slow as the laundry folding robot, but it climbs up the stair and then it lifts one leg up and pivots and then vacuums along the stair and then brings its other leg up, climbs up to the next step, and it it teeters on its wheels a little bit. A couple of times I was thinking, oh, it's just going to go right back.
It's going. Yeah.
But they say it has, the engine has like built-in like braking and, so it can figure out where it is and not go backwards, keeps going up. They didn't show it climbing down the stairs. They just showed it going down a slope. But they did, before CES, they did show us a demo video and briefings that did show it going downstairs as well as up. And it can also like lift one leg up and sort of clean along things. So I think the idea there is that maybe it could like clean other surfaces, not just steps, but any kind of surface that's maybe, like maybe even a table. Not that I don't know if you'd want your robot vacuum to clean your table, but it could get into different areas because, and this is Roborock's president's point about making the robots that we have do more and do better, rather than do everything, which I definitely think is the way we're going with home robotics.
I was just imagining, I think it was really good to have. And eventually, I'm sure these things are going to get good. They'll climb the stairs. They'll, scale the stairs. They'll clean the stairs.
They'll suck your face like the Half-Life face suckers leaping into your...
That too, all of it. But I was just imagining having one of these and then you hear thump, 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 thump. What was that? Oh, it was the $2,000 robot just fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
that has been a problem with robot vacuums from the beginning.
It's true. It's very, very.
There's going to be things like that for a long time where we have little accidents happen. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, personally, I would want robotics. I would want 2 robotic arms mounted to the ceiling in my dining room / kitchen because they'll help with chores. I'd probably want an arm or 2 in the laundry room, but other than that, I don't really need a robot following me around the house. Now, those are the 2 places that are going to have the most use for any sort of robotic help. And those are the places where you can really easily define the tasks that need to take place. And I think fixed arms work so much better than trying to make it work with a robot that follows, a humanoid or not. Roborock is one of a number of Chinese companies that basically put Roombas out of business, right? I mean, are the Chinese lapping us on all of this?
Yes.
Yeah. Dreamy.
They're iterating a lot faster.
Dreamy.
They're all everything you've talked about.
Their booth, Dreamy. So Dreamy came out in 2020, I think they launched their first robot vacuums in the US. And they are now, so they had their first booth at CES maybe 2 years ago, and it was quite small, but like robot vacuum booth next to Roborock. Now they had 2 booths, one in the Venetian, one in the LVCC. And when I went there to interview their president, and the PR guy said to me, "Oh, we just signed the contract for our booth next year. We're going to have the largest booth in the history of CES."
Oh my God!
Not our largest booth, but like the largest.
And there have been some pretty big booths.
Yeah, Samsung and LG have whole city blocks.
They had a car. They had appliances. They had smartphones. This is Dreamy. They had smart home appliances, smart home devices. They had a whole like Dyson rip-off room with all the hair dryers. Like they had everything. They're not just doing robots. Are their main thing, but they have become a huge multi-appliance, kind of like robotics and household appliances, like Shark Ninja and Roomba together, plus Whirlpool, and then cars. They're just going crazy. And I heard there was a really interesting article in the South China Morning Post. Am I saying that right? Just before Christmas, saying that, and this is unconfirmed, but the Dreamy CEO had sent out an email to all employees and was giving everyone an ounce of gold as a bonus.
Oh my God!
Jeez,
what is that? $5,000 or something? Wow!
Back to the heyday of CES.
They're doing very well.
Their first. Go ahead. Sorry, Leo.
I shouldn't bring politics into this, but we've banned Chinese EVs because they're so much better than our EVs. We've just banned all drones made outside of the US because we don't like it that their drones are so much better than ours. It feels like you're putting a big target on your back when you say we're going to have the largest booth in the history of CES. I don't. There's nothing to say about it.
2 years ago, I remember the first when I was still at ZDNet, and reviewed the first Dreamy. I think it was like it was their first big product. It was like the Dreamy 40. Maybe.
Yeah, the L40. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And the crazy thing was, it had really just come to the point where Roborock had just taken over from Roomba as like they were clearly now the best. They had the best products. They had the best pickup, the best sort of battery life, the best navigation, all of it. And it was like, wow, Roborock is the 800-pound gorilla. And Dreamy came out with their first product, and it was better than Roborock's. And is like, ever since then, Roborock has just been scrambling to try to catch up. And Dreamy, I was so impressed that how did they come out with their first product? Clearly, they just looked at what all they were doing, and they're like, oh, there's a couple things that could be better, and we'll just make those better. And it was better at almost everything, with its first gen product.
Is there a security or privacy concern with this? I mean, these autonomous devices in your house map
with
your
cameras.
house. They have cameras.
Yes, but the same sort of security issue you're going to have with having Amazon appliances everywhere. I mean,
right.
Any sort of autonomous vehicle in your home is going to have a map of your home. That's how it moves around.
Right.
It's going to generate that. And a lot of that processing does not happen on the device. It's going to happen to the server that it's connected to on the other side of the cloud. So is there a security issue? Absolutely. What could you do with that information? I mean, you could do nefarious things, but people would have to really target you to do it. So
it makes more sense,
that's
frankly, for
absolutely.
Amazon to look and see what furniture you have so that they can show you the right ads than for the
Yeah.
Chinese to look and see what furniture you have so they can invade our shores. I don't know. I don't know what.
I mean, this is why the Matic we mentioned earlier is one that I really like, because it does all its processing locally. You don't need a cloud. There's no Wi-Fi
I like that,
required.
honestly.
And if that's something you're concerned about, yes, Chinese manufacturers there are. So Ecovacs had a pretty bad incident recently, which is another Chinese robot vacuum manufacturer where their robot vacuums got hacked and they were like chasing people around and yelling at them in their houses, which is obviously terrifying. And then there are like user metrics you can put on the robot, so you can disable the camera. Roborock actually came out with a whole line without cameras, so if you can still use the vacuums without having a camera in your home. They have like a pin in order to enable the camera, and the camera, all of them, when they are recording, because you can use them to like check in on your home. And one of Dreamy's features is, and Narwhal, which is another one, there's a lot of them, is that it can go find your pet for you. So if you're out of the house and you want to check on your pet, the robot can go and look for the pet for you. But the robot will say, as it's moving and recording, live view enabled, like, so that there are lots of safeguards, I suppose, but ultimately, yeah, anything connected to the internet, you are going to have security risks. But now with Matter, you have got the capability of using some of these devices just with a local platform. You obviously lose some of the capabilities because you could connect. I think Dreamy and Roborock both work with Matter, so you could just set up the robot via Apple Home. Although if you want the mapping features, you do need to use the Dreamy app. So yeah, there's still a little ways to go until we can get local control of some of these devices. But I think that's the way we're going to see some companies coming out to sort of differentiate themselves, because there obviously are concerns around that.
I do think the Dreamy Halo hairdryer, which
Isn't that great?
The
There's a
Verge
video
did
of
give
me using
an
it.
award to. Why isn't that you there, though? I don't.
There is a video of me. I used it because it wasn't plugged in. This was at Unveils, so it was just sitting there. But so I went to the Dreamy booth and got my hair dried by it. It was
For
not a
people
great
who
experience.
aren't seeing the video, this is a thing that is as tall as a human almost. I mean, it's a big arc that sits on the
Giant,
floor.
like half circle, yeah.
Yeah. Does air come out of the whole thing? No, just the top.
Yeah, so no, it's the top. So you can
This
see
is
the
a
top
back
there,
to
there's a
the
little
stand
band on
hairdryer
it.
that we got rid of in the 60s?
It is.
That
That's
looks
the
like that's like the
That was with
Dyson hairdryer.
Lots of young people,
That's the
and I didn't
design.
want to say.
Yeah.
Wait, this is
So
it.
it
Remember, you
moves-
used to go to
it's
the
got
salon
AI.
and you'd sit under the hood with all the other guys in curlers, and this is like that.
It does. It reminded me of that a lot. It's got it, so it uses AI to track your movement.
modern.
So in theory, they told me
What does it
the
track
idea
your
was that
hair?
you should be able to just
Moisture?
move you. It tracks your head. So you can move and it follows your head. And also it moves around your head.
No.
Here, I'm going to drop the link of me.
Does it, so it's rotating?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
This is
so it's
crazy.
moving for you.
So instead of having to hold a blow dryer, which gosh knows is really an onerous task, and you don't have to go to a hairdresser to do it for you. You can have the dreamy Halo dry your hair.
Yes, and it also
I need to
shoots.
pitch to DEF CON this year that we're going to create a village with nothing but these smart appliances and just let hackers go crazy. All the ways you could hurt a human inside this little village.
No, it does have. It's a lamp, so the whole.
Of course it is, because why not?
Is a lamp here. And then it shoots like moisturizing air, so it's supposed to like be a scalp treatment for you. I
Does
put
it do
just
sense?
at the end of the rundown.
Yeah, I see it on your Instagram.
Will
here.
it squirt like essential oils?
Yes, like that kind of thing. It's meant to make you feel
here's
like
JTP.
healthy. There's me.
And you went in with your hair wet. No, you didn't.
No,
Well, all right.
and it also was just kind of so you could see it moving a little bit. It's like move because as you dry your own hair, you move.
You move
the
it.
hairdryer.
Yeah, you don't want
So
a big
this is
hot
it.
spot at the top of your head. And
Yeah, so it's moving for you.
Yeah, then it's just an air fryer.
Wow.
That's different.
It was. It was. They said it's going to be
$700. They say it's not available yet, but
no. But they showed the video of it of like you sitting on a couch and it just kind of.
Jennifer, you're such a trooper. I can't believe you had to go around all of these different things.
I mean, we're making fun of it, but I mean, it looks nice.
Yeah, it does. It's furniture. You could have it.
Lamp,
It could be in
the
your
lamp
living room.
thing
Yeah.
was- yeah.
Well designed.
Oh, that lamp? That's my hairdryer too.
Yeah.
I need to let the lamp. Hold on a second. I'll be right there. I'm going to let the lamp dry my hair.
I could see buying this for my wife just as a gift, just for I mean, it'd be a fun Christmas gift.
Yeah.
And then my mom would use it to dry
Definitely
the kitchen rags.
Unique.
Mom, why is it dreamy in the kitchen?
Drying all the rags.
Drying all the stuff. Well, I do want to talk about the computer in your pocket, Father Robert. We'll get to that. There's so much to talk about. Chips. This was it sounds like a very interesting CES.
It wasn't dull.
Yeah, not dull.
There was a lot.
Yeah.
There was a lot.
Jason Heiner's here from his brand new thedeepview.com. Great to have you, Jason. Jennifer Pattison Toohey from The Verge. Father Robert from the Vatican, the digital Jesuit. Now, Father Robert has put together a countdown, a Casey Kasem style countdown of your top 5 gizmos from CES. And we're going to do it as Casey Kasem does, backwards. So now, starting our top 5 countdown of CES hits, here's number 5 from the show floor. Hit it.
CES, what we used to call the Consumer Electronics Show. It's the mecca for industry professionals, engineers, and those who are just interested in the latest and greatest in technology. Now, with millions of square feet of exhibit halls and thousands of vendors, it can be difficult to zero in on the technology that you're looking for, which is why I did the hard work for you. I'm Father Robert Bellicer, the digital Jesuit, and this is Padre's Top 5 from CES 2026.
Number 5, the Strut EV. Not everybody
I'll
who
take
needs
it.
a mobility
I
device
need it.
can safely operate
I want
a
it.
mobility device.
I
That's the
love
basic
this
problem
thing,
that
Leo.
led Singapore-based robotics company Strut to create the EV. To
This is
address
like the
that problem,
scooters you
Strut
see at
gave their
Costco,
EV a suite
but
of sensors
little
and
fancier.
processing that they call their EV Sense system. It uses a combination of cameras, LiDAR, time of flight, and ultrasonic sensors to give the system a 360 by 360 degree view of the environment around the EV. This
Oh my God,
allows
it's got
the EV
LiDAR.
to not only see, understand, and avoid people, hazards, and obstacles, but also to
Fully
autonomously bring its users safely to their destinations.
I want this when I
Combined
go
with a
into the
four-motor
home.
active drive motion and suspension system that will dynamically adjust torque
Here
and
comes
prevent
the tech
slippage,
guy
the
again.
EV works well on carpet, gravel,
He's strapped.
concrete, wet surfaces, and the like. It tops out at 7 miles per hour, has a max payload of 350 pounds, can climb grades of 13 degrees, and has an all-day replaceable cartridge battery that can charge from 20 to 80% capacity in 30 minutes. In Copilot mode, the EV Sense system smooths user inputs to prevent jerky motions and
This
applies
is the hover chair
proactive
from
braking
WALL-E.
to prevent
Yep,
collisions
basically.
or driving into unsafe areas in 3 axes. This is for my
parents.
plus mode.
I mean,
move the
yeah,
joystick
no,
where
I'm-
you
I'm
want
gonna
to go,
be using this
and
soon.
the ED Sense will automatically adjust the heading to get you there while going around any obstacles. Basically, it's drive-by. So I'm not driving it right now.
I'm hungry.
Oh, it's just
In Pathfinder
Oh,
and
you
Waypoint
say I'm
mode,
hungry
the
and it
EV
takes you to
drops
food?
into full autonomous operation.
All right, I need it
Users
now.
can either use a map to point out where they want to go, or they can use the context-sensitive
this.
voice assistant. For example, say
Here's
I'm
where that
hungry,
photo
and
is.
the EV will
Is this
safely
Showstoppers
pilot
or
you to the
Pepcom?
kitchen. At
This was
$5,300 launch price and the
They have
eventual
very good food at Pepcom.
$7,500 MSRP, the Strut EV is well below the average price for an advanced wheelchair. It could be the perfect tech for those who need a little help getting around.
That's very cool. Now we're going to take all of these and put them together. There's a 7-minute feature we'll put up on our YouTube channel, on our Twit News YouTube feed, so you can see all of them. But that was number 5 in Father Robert's hit parade, and we will get to the rest.
I was so enamored because I've been looking at nice wheelchairs for my father because he's having trouble moving around. But the problem is
$7,500 is a good price.
it's $5,300 right now. It'll go up to $7,500.
Oh, okay. Well, 53. Yeah.
But 15,000 is what I was looking at for a standard electronic motorized wheelchair.
Oh, that's
the
crazy.
problem with that is if you can't drive it, if you no longer have the ability to drive, you'll be driving into walls, into people. This will not let you drive into an obstacle.
That's fantastic.
Wow.
The only thing that's missing, I'll be honest with you, it needs a scissor lift. So you can say up, and it goes up.
Wow.
That's all it needs. It just needs that. And then done deal. If I could
practical
sit,
tech.
if I could sit at the bottom of the stairs and it would just push me up the stairs.
Now, Leo, one of the other things that I was thinking of is we have a retirement home for Jesuit priests in Los Gatos, California. And we had to ban scooters, mobility scooters, because the guys were running into each other.
Yeah.
We
They
were
were jousting.
They were
Demolition
not
Derby?
jousting, but when you live with
By
someone
accident.
for 60 years, you develop a lot of grudges.
Oh, they were intentionally running into each other?
I think so.
Ramming each other. Wow.
All right, we'll have
They
more.
were accidentally running over people's feet. It was weird.
We'll have more in our top 5 countdown with Father Robert, Jennifer Pasatui, and Jason Heiner. Our show today brought to you by Redis, brand new sponsor, but not new to us because we've been using Redis for our website for 10 years at least. Redis is REDIS, and I think if you're a geek, you know the name, is the real-time data platform that powers ultra-fast applications. We use it for caching. You can use it for data storage, for search, vector embeddings, AI workloads, and more. With a global user community and adoption across startups to Fortune 500 companies, Redis continues to innovate on speed, scalability, and developer experience. And it's a very good experience. Ask Patrick, our engineer. Redis helps developers ship faster, scale instantly, and keep apps blazing fast, even under heavy load. At the center of the platform, the Redis Cloud. Redis Cloud is the fully managed version of the fastest and most feature-rich version of Redis on the market. By choosing this Redis as a service, you can easily start utilizing Redis 8 in production and scale to real-time speeds effortlessly. Redis Cloud is purpose-built for performance and simplicity. It's what we use, and I have to say, there have been times when our website would be down if it weren't for Redis, where we screwed things up, and Redis, because it's cached the site, keeps it going. We love Redis. Extremely low latency and high throughput. That's important to us because, you go to a website, if it doesn't load in a second or two, you feel like something's wrong. You might even leave. It does automatic scaling, global availability. We have a global audience. You probably do too. Simple setup and a generous free tier. In fact, I want you to check out the free tier. Redis Cloud. It's the real-time context engine that gathers, syncs, and serves the data you need to build accurate AI apps that scale. To learn more or try Redis Cloud for free, just search for Redis Cloud, or you can go to their website, redis.io, REDIS.io. Thank you, Redis, for years of making our website ultra reliable and for sponsoring This Week in Tech. We're so glad to have you in the Twit family. All right, what is in your pocket, Robert?
That's
You got a supercomputer in your pocket, really?
I've got a supercomputer. I can't. It's
You
got
can't
a whole
talk
bunch
about
of
it.
NDAs attached to it, but let's just say it comes from the largest maker of AI chips in the world.
Okay, we know who that is. Okay.
We know who that is. It's their next
Do you have Vera
generation.
Rubin in your pocket?
Possibly.
Is she happy to see you?
It's in the format of their Spark. So if you've seen their Spark, it is basically a mini data center in a box. This is using the newest of the processors, the two-part.
That you can't mention, I understand. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, the nice thing about it is we're going to be using it mostly for video creation, and you can do everything local. You don't even have to remotely touch cloud resources to be able to do it. And I can put together a 4K video lasting about 30 seconds in about 90 seconds. I mean, the turnaround is so fast. It iterates so quickly. It's amazing. And
does it run normal software? It's not running Windows.
No. This is all Linux. So it's a standalone server that you can basically send prompts to. You can send prompts and it will continue to iterate. You could also load up your own LLMs.
So you can have multiple processes going at once?
Exactly.
Okay.
So we've got this box. Ostensibly it's for video, but also where I work, my day job, we're in a place where we often have these conferences that have conversations that we call them internal forum, which means it cannot leave that room. It's not secret, it's just sensitive information. We cannot use any of the current popular translation services because they all require us to send those conversations away. That's a no-go. So we're going to be trying to host our own small AI data centers that do nothing but real-time translation. That's where this thing really comes in. It's where it's really going to shine. So I like this. It's a nice trend of taking just enough compute power and putting it into your local network, your local campus, so that you can do everything in-house. I'm a big proponent of that.
Well, I am. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was talking before the show. Maybe we'll talk a little bit after the show. We'll certainly talk more about it on other shows like Intelligent Machines. But I am head over heels in love with Claude Code, or Claude, as French friends call it, Claude Code. And in fact, I just ended up this morning paying for the Max version, the $250 a month Max version, because I'm so blown away by what it can do. But ideally, that's a lot of money. Ideally, I have a lot of hardware here. I could run this stuff locally. As for privacy reasons, for security reasons, for cost reasons, I would love something like Claude to run my household. So I could see some real applications for this. Now, this imaginary company that you can't mention the name of, do they envision it as a commercial-only product, or do they see a home use for it at some point?
I mean, it's going to be commercial only, but it will leak its way into enterprise. It's never going to make it into home, not in its current configuration, just because even though it's far more efficient, it's still kind of power and water hungry. So you wouldn't want to do that. Yeah.
What, are you carrying a pump and a reservoir with you in your backpack? It's got to be a sealed system, right?
Yeah, to be able to get decent throughput on this thing for an enterprise, you would need to water cool them.
Okay.
In fact, we'll see that later on in one of the segments. But the blades, the data center that Nvidia set up in their suite in the Fontainebleau, it's amazing that how much they have to put cooling into the development of the solutions. It's no longer an afterthought. They have to have that up front because these things are putting out so much thermal energy that if you're not thinking about that from the get-go, it's just not going to work.
Jensen did do quite a fun speech, talked a lot about all the new things. I'm not saying that this is an NVIDIA product, but I'm segueing now to NVIDIA. Sorry. Although Jeff Jarvis said he really wanted to interview Jensen's leather jacket. He's very impressed by it.
I mean, the leather jacket, the black leather jacket is the new
black turtleneck.
Is the new black turtleneck.
Yeah,
for sure. I tweeted
this one was looked like alligator or something.
He pulls it off though. He kind of does, right?
Greg Brockman came on, the president of OpenAI came on the AMD keynote, and when he came on in a black leather jacket, and I tweeted out, this is my most popular tweet of the whole show. I was like, breaking news, Greg Brockman has arrived at the AMD keynote in a black leather jacket. This is serious. And that was by far my most interacted with tweet of the entire show.
That's hysterical. Yeah. Well, maybe it's the new look for the new billionaires. So we'll get to AMD in a second. Nvidia announced a new platform called Vera Rubin.
Yes.
I presume she is a computer scientist?
Space scientists.
Space scientist. Okay. Does this replace Blackwell, or is this?
It does.
Okay.
This is the next generation.
Grace Blackwell, Vera, Rubin. So it's Vera and Rubin. Vera's the CPU. Rubin is the GPU. So
there's a Blackwell in the Rubin?
No. It's a brand new chip, a brand new piece of silicon. It uses NVLink 6, so it's double the bandwidth to each GPU. And two Rubin GPUs are paired with each Vera CPU on the same piece of silicon.
The Rubin is the GPU. It's like a sandwich, and the Vera is the CPU.
He said there's like 6 chips. This makes up essentially 6 chips. One of them is Vera, one of them is Rubin, and then there's 4 others.
Wow. The interlink and all that. She's an
thing
astronomer who
is.
reshaped how scientists understand the property of galaxies.
Yes. Very
There's
cool.
the Rubin
Much cooler
GPU,
name
the
than
Vera
Blackwell.
CPU, both built on TSMC's 3 nanometer process. But it's the bandwidth, is the interconnect that is, I think, very important.
It's
right?
amazing.
You know, they were already
double.
Yeah, they were already had a huge lead, right, in AI chips. Like, this is no secret. They have 90% market share. They have, if they stopped taking orders today, they have everything that they're going to make in 2026 is already sold, right? So they have so much demand, and that's why they're, essentially been printing money for 3 years. And even with that, there are competitors trying. So Trainium from Amazon, you have Google with their TPUs, you have AMD, of course, trying to also grab a piece of the market. The next biggest, according to AMD, according to most places, to Nvidia at 90% is AMD with 5%. And yet, their next generation chip, this Vera Rubin chip, we weren't expecting for about another 6 months. So this is kind of about 6 months ahead of schedule.
Well, it won't be out till later this year, though.
That's right. It won't be. But we expected them to kind of announce the full details of it, probably mid-year.
So one of the things that comes up for me is we see these companies, XAI, Elon Musk's company, and Meta, of course, and Microsoft spending billions of dollars building these data centers with the latest chips that are now obsolete.
It's worse than that, Leo, because we know for a fact, because of the power consumption of the Blackwell chips, that there's a very large percentage of the Blackwell chips sold that are not powered on. They can't power them on. So they bought them because
they had an overheating problem when they first came out.
Exactly. So you've got a huge chunk that are doing nothing except waiting for more data center capacity. Well, if you look at how much more energy efficient the Vera Rubin is going to be over the Grace Blackwell, it actually makes economic sense to just no longer use the Blackwell chips that you've got in reserve.
Oh my God.
And just buy all brand new Vera Rubin chips.
Now this is for the especially for the folks who are on the leading edge of like training.
Yeah, you can send those Blackwell chips to us.
You'll take them.
We'll take them.
eBay. Put them on eBay.
You know what?
We will sell those, and they'll do
That's
great.
not fully in jest. At some point, right? It might be a couple of years off. This is the thing that I find most interesting. Claude Code is so good, but it's running off of Anthropic's servers, trained with very, very expensive hardware, probably being sold at a loss by Anthropic. But this stuff trickles down.
Yes, it does.
Right? Is it reasonable to think that in 6 months or a year, or even if it's 2 years, I will have that kind of capability sitting on my desk here?
It's very reasonable.
Desk? And I mean, the problem is they sell them in blades. So they're computer.
All right, I'll have a server closet. Okay.
Well, I mean,
no.
How big is your server closet, and does it have 3-phase power?
But you've got something in your pocket
And
that
liquid
can do
cooling.
that.
Yes, so that's a very special use case. So instead of putting it into a blade, they put it into an individual case.
Well, it's not tied then to the blade. You could do it in different ways, right?
I guess I'd have to start poking around.
I think there'd be more of a market for that than there would be for a robot. And maybe those robots are going to cost thousands, maybe $10,000, right? If for
90,000.
90?
That's what one of the Jupiter, he said it would be 90,000. He said
Who's
it's like
going to
buying
buy
a car.
that? That's got to be a kind of limited market.
Hey,
The
there
Switchbot
are a
was like
lot of
10.
people who are going to pay a lot of money to have robots fall on them. That's all I'm saying.
It'll be like a car event, right? It'll be like a car. And will you need it as much as you need a car?
I mean, Optimus, they talked about that essentially the price will be similar to a car with Tesla, Optimus. But the thing to your point, Leo, though, the chips, the thing is these high end chips are going to be, essentially they do the same thing for training with a quarter of the number of GPUs. Right. Which is incredible. For inference, I believe, and Father Robert can gut check me on this.
Inference is 10x.
Inference is 10x, exactly. So 10x for inference, 4x for training. That's going to let you do so much more with the same amount of chips. Now, one of the counter trends that's happening right now.
Before you go on, I got to, because I need to know these terms. So when you create an LLM, you train it. And that's training. That's the first expense. Is that the most CPU or GPU intensive part of the process?
It depends what kind of model you're making.
Okay. So but if you're building ChatGPT 5.2 or Anthropic's Opus 4.5, that's the inference part.
Expense.
Then you do a lot of post training and reinforcement learning and stuff. What's the inference? Is that when I'm using it?
So every time you ask something of an LLM, it's generating an inference token. That's its response.
That's the user cost. And is the user cost higher than the training cost?
It's not now, but it will be, right? Remember, only 13% of the people in the world have actually used generative AI to this point.
Which is surprising because OpenAI says 800 million people use ChatGPT every month.
Well, sorry, only 13% use it on a monthly basis. Have used it once, maybe.
I must be in the top 10,
higher, maybe
10th of 1% because I'm using it all day. I'm using it right now.
There is one more spec that's important for the conversation, and that is per watt of power used. Vera Rubin does 8 times the work of Grace Blackwell. So it is far more power efficient, which again, that's why if you're sitting on a lot of Blackwell product right now, just waiting to power it up, you would be looking at it and going, in a year, the Vera Rubin is going to be cheaper because the power costs are so much less.
As somebody in the Flow Connect's pointing out in the chat room, remember the $6 million man was $6 million. So 90,000 is a deal.
Well, the counter trend though is that
we have the technology.
We're going to see that because it's so expensive to run AI, right? There's this real ROI problem for businesses. And so what we're seeing is small language models, SLMs, and domain-specific language models. There's a real move to using them and optimizing them. I did a story in December on this company, Neurometric AI, that their whole thing is they're going to help you find the way to optimize your workload to a specific model, and it'll be like up to like a 10th of the cost and higher performance. And you can use older hardware. You could use Blackwell, you could use hardware 2 or 3 generations old. So you're still it's not like Blackwell, people are gonna throw them in the trash or something. They're still gonna use them. They're just gonna use them for smaller, things where they don't need them as much.
In fact, this argues for less focus on these kind of generalized chat bots and more specific stuff. A medical AI, for instance, that would help a doctor with diagnostics. That could be a smaller model, run much more inexpensively, and really, frankly, be more useful and accurate because it just does that.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense in the context of what we were talking about, this general purpose robot versus purpose-built robots. It makes more sense. Not that people want a dozen robots running around the house all the time.
Well, the sustainability question really has to be part of the regular conversation. Anyway. It's terrible. You've got Elon Musk, who's going to be spinning up a new 2 gigawatt data center. And remember, you lose about 1.8 gallons of water to evaporation for every ton hour of cooling. That means for his 2 gigawatt data center, he's going to be losing about 79 million gallons of water a year out of that municipal water source.
You just do that math in your head.
He's very good that way. He's like a little AI himself. I mean, look, golf courses probably lose that much as well. I mean, we have to decide what we want to spend our water budget on. And evaporate doesn't mean it goes away forever. It comes back down.
Yeah. But they are pulling from municipal water sources. So,
that's
for example,
a problem.
The Meta a data center in Arizona, it's already pulling from a place that has very little water.
Right. I don't know why they're building these data centers in water-deprived areas. Well, tax breaks, I guess.
Meta is building one in Louisiana that's essentially the size of Manhattan, and Hyperion. It's 2 gigawatts, and it's going to scale up to 5 gigawatts and essentially the size of Manhattan. But the interesting thing, I did wonder this because it's, Louisiana is essentially a swamp. So I thought, well, the water is easy to get a hold of.
Suck it out of the bayou. There's also power, and unfortunately, at least some of Elon's plants are running on natural gas, which is a horrible polluting form of energy. Although what is interesting is all of this puts pressure, purely economic, not necessarily environmental, but it has the same impact on these companies to become more efficient, to go to nuclear power and renewable power, to use less energy, to use less water, and they seem to be doing that. Yeah.
On Friday,
here
Meta
in Nevada,
they got it.
I just say Meta just became. Sorry, I'll just say it. Meta became the #1 buyer of nuclear power in the U.S. on Friday.
Yeah,
they signed a huge deal,
like 5 more plants or something. Yeah.
Or you could do it the way that they're doing it here in Nevada, which is there's 3 data centers that are going in, and they all have an agreement with Nevada Power that the cost of building the new plants, at least 2 to 3 new plants at a price of 1.2 to 2 billion a pop, are going to be paid by the ratepayers. So, I mean,
that's good.
That's fantastic. That means
what could possibly go wrong there?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, there's some warring parties at all of this, but I think, at least for now, the world has said we want AI, whatever the cost. So AMD, Lisa Su, they've replaced, or not replaced, but they're going to have a successor to the Strix Halo, right? And new Zen 5 APUs. Is AMD lapping Intel in this?
I mean,
not lapping, they lapped Intel.
It's done deal. They're Intel's in the dust. Although Intel's new processors are actually surprisingly good. But when it comes to AI, AMD is the leader here.
They're not as AI optimized as AMD's new chips.
Right.
AMD and AMD's silicon have a lot of headroom. So if they really wanted to push, they could push Intel out of existence. But that's
what about
not
Qualcomm and its chipset, the Snapdragon? Is it competitive?
I mean, ARM. You've played with ARM chips. Some of them are competitive. Most of them are not.
Right. The Strix Halo I have over here on my framework is great. I have an Apple Mac Mini, and Apple's done some pretty amazing things, and they have NPUs and they have unified memory, and so they have some hardware that's pretty good for AI, right? Nothing like Vera Rubin.
It all comes down to where Qualcomm is finding its profit center. Its profit center is not in super powerful intelligent devices. It's in all devices.
Right.
And so that's where they're spending their R&D.
Well, you know what else is getting smart? Legos.
Yeah.
This was my favorite thing. I didn't put it in my top 5, but I loved this.
This was our best in show by far. Like, no one disputed it at all.
Tell us about it,
any
JPT. What is this? Is a smart brick?
So sadly, I didn't get to see it myself, but I heard everyone raving about it because it actually wasn't on the show floor. It was one of those like you have to go have a meeting booth.
Gotta
thing.
go to the hotel.
But Sean Hollister, who is our unofficial Lego correspondent, just had a blast, and there's a great video of him playing with the toys. But basically, it just makes Legos come to life. So each brick, so there's these special bricks come in the set. There's I think 3 sets that are launching in March, and they have Bluetooth. So it works on a little Bluetooth mesh, like a local Bluetooth mesh to communicate. They have NFC chips, and then what happens is when you put it in. Say you put one brick in with like Luke Skywalker and R2-D2 in one of their jets, planes, spaceships, and it knows which character is in there, and it can talk and respond like the character, making noises like R2-D2 noises, and they can connect to each other. So there was one demo I saw where Darth Vader was talking to Princess Leia, and they were kind of communicating in a different language. So it's like everything that you did as a kid to make the toys talk to each other, but it actually doesn't.
Now you don't have to do that anymore.
It is exceptionally stupid. It is a waste of time, and I want them so much.
So fun.
It's going to sell
There's
to
a TIE
adults,
fighter,
obviously.
there's an X-Wing, and then there's the Emperor's throne room. You need all three.
Yes.
So it's not AI. We're not talking AI here.
No,
These are just.
no, they're like, our product has no AI. It's dumber than anything you have seen at the show, and it's also the coolest thing that you've.
It can measure distance and orientation, so it has accelerometers in it. So it's more than just NFC talking.
Yeah, it knows.
Yeah, so if you take the X-Wing
noises
and you fly it around, it whooshes.
it lights up and makes Star Wars noises, which
But
is
how,
like,
the next generation is not going to know how to go pew, 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 pew. All the toys are going to do it for you.
Leo, the next generation can do their own thing. This is for us.
They only work
This is our
for 45 minutes, like battery life. So
It doesn't take AAA batteries.
No, it comes with a little charger thing. You pop the bricks on the charger, so you get 45 minutes of playtime before they have to be charged again. And yeah, I mean, it is. We saw a lot of AI in toys at CES, which is not a good thing.
yes.
No, in fact,
Not a good thing.
Our own Senator Alex Padilla has introduced a bill in the Senate, U.S. Senate, banning AI in toys for kids.
Yeah, and this is just a way of taking, technology, taking the experience of playing with your toys to that next level, that level you always wanted when you were playing with them as a kid. And I don't think, I'm sure there's some naysayers saying, well, yeah, but aren't you just destroying your own imagination? You can't use your own imagination, don't have the toys do it for you, but you still are playing with them. You are still creating an experience with the toys. It's just a more augmented and with more fun and more engaging. So hopefully maybe keep kids away from engaging things online and playing with engaging things in real life. It feels like a win-win here, really.
I think that last point,
expensive.
I think that last point is the most important one, because I had plenty of toys and my kids had plenty of toys where you had the button that made the noise of the ship, and it didn't mean you didn't make noises, other noises, right?
Yeah.
But it was more engaging, and it becomes it can compete a little bit better in some cases with some of the digital, stuff.
You put Palpatine on his chair and it plays.
Exactly. The Death March.
This is Sean's,
adult me. And adult me can afford all the toys that child me couldn't get. So, yeah.
That's who's going to buy it. What I love about this is Lego lost the patent. It expired for its bricks. So anybody can make Lego bricks now. But they are innovating in ways that preserves, I'm sure this is patented, that preserves their advantage. That's good. I'd like to see that. That's nice.
Yeah. The AI toys, we talked a little bit about this on Wednesday, and Intelligent Machines as well. But this was one of those that felt like all of a sudden, it's not that there hadn't been AI toys before at CES. But wow, the sort of like emotional support toy, thing was really disturbing.
Tell us about that. You mentioned that on Wednesday, but a lot of people didn't see it.
Yeah.
There are emotional support toys?
Multiple ones. And there's this one that was like essentially a sock with an eye that like follows you around it is as silly as it sounds, that follows you around the room. It tries to learn what makes you laugh, what makes you smile. And I loved that we wrote about these very skeptically and said, like, look, putting all of these toys out in the world that are aimed at helping, be emotionally supportive for your kids because they're trying to help solve loneliness and isolation and that kind of thing. And we sort of question, like, doing all of this before thinking through all the implications feels like it's pretty dangerous. And our audience responded 50% immediately, and this was an AI audience, right, that said, no, they wouldn't want this. And then only 25% said yes, and then the other 25 were sort of like, we're still trying to decide. And one reader wrote in so coherently, it said, isn't the promise of AI that it should do more things for you and you can spend more time with your kids, not that you should, buy emotional support toy for them and, have
Let's
this
face
help.
it. Most parents are looking for ways to spend less time with their kids. Let's be honest, right? I mean,
I think the emotional support toys are also for the adults, though. Like we saw.
well, this is for old people. This one, Anne from the Mind with Heart Robotics, is for elderly people who, not only do parents not want to spend time with their kids, they don't want to spend time with their parents.
So there was one we saw called Little Milo that actually that was picked as our most irrationally loved product at CES because it was so cute. And it was designed for people who can't have pets but would like to have a dog. And it was a tiny bit creepy. And a lot of the comments on the article were like, well, it's made by a robot vacuum manufacturer from China. So just a little...
those.
Yeah, the little Milo. But he was so cute.
What's he look like?
He is a dog. It looks just like a dog. And do you remember the dogs from like the 80s that everyone bought? Speaking
like
of toys?
Aibo? Sony's
No,
Aibo?
no, not even as robotic as that. Like it was a dog that could kind of just go...
That's all you really need a dog to do, really. Let's be honest.
And move around and wag its tail. And this one can't even move, but the idea behind it is it's supposed to, it uses AI to kind of develop a personality based on how you interact with it and become an emotional support for you. And it's meant for adults. It's not meant for kids.
Is this a market you think that's going to take off?
It seems, I think there is, one of the biggest epidemics in the world is loneliness. And we're seeing a lot of companies come out with products to help with things like aging in place or loneliness for elders who are living alone. They can't, it's not because they don't have the ability to leave the house, but they're just sort of stuck and lonely. They don't have people visiting them. There's one robot that I've actually been following at CES since 2018 that's very successful in its space called LEQ. And we've actually talked about LEQ on the show before, I think. And they were at CES again this year, and they've been using AI to help the robot become much more useful to the person, because the main point of it initially was conversation. It's one of the only proactive AIs on the market. So it prompts the person it's living with so that it's trying to get them to talk and communicate, because if you're an elderly person living alone, you don't speak sometimes for days because if you're not talking to people. So the idea behind this one is proactive, and with AI, they've turned it into more of a health agent that's actually fully monitoring the person and looking for any potential issues.
That's different.
Connect with their health providers. So you can connect it through the app with your health providers, and it can help understand your not just your emotional health, but also physical health. Like, she only went to the bathroom. I don't know this because this is maybe a little private, but it could be something like she only went into the bathroom 4 times today, maybe, or she went too many times today, and this could be bad. This is something we need to relate to the health agent. Think proactive things to keep monitoring. I think But, in terms of having devices like this in your home, when I said this to the LEQ guy, it's like, but isn't it kind of sad that we have to use a robot to do things like this rather than have people helping us? And he's like, yeah, if there were enough people out there to just spend time with the elderly, I would love to be put out of business, but there just aren't. And people are lonely, and this is something he thinks, and it has been shown to help. They did a trial in New York City for a couple of years.
When I was at ZDNet, we actually worked on, we interviewed people who had used it. So, and they talked about the things they liked, they talked about they didn't like. It's a story from Sabrina Ortiz at ZDNet that really interviewed people, and on balance, they found it quite useful and helpful, and were wanting to keep using it after the trial.
Yeah,
it feels like it would be better to get a dog though than a robot.
So we did a
can
study.
Be hard to look after.
I guess it's a lot of work, right?
Because my day job has a lot to say about loneliness and human interaction. And so we did a limited study about 4 years ago, and we took a bunch of these AI companions, put them into the hands of some people who needed some sort of companionship, and it helped. I mean, the test for neuroplasticity looked very, very good. You had people who were engaging far more than they would if they were alone, and surprisingly, the one metric that we really enjoyed was the fact that the residents who used these devices tended to reach out to real humans more than they would have otherwise.
That's interesting.
So that was an
it's a kind of a wedge to kind of move them in that interactive direction. It's really true,
and
I've
actually one
seen
of the
that.
neat things about LEQ is they do, or between users, they do like a bingo night every Wednesday. So everyone with an LEQ plays bingo.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
then they also have these
That's
tours, and they actually go live with a tour guide in a city, like say, you know, at the Vatican or in Paris, and the tour guide is showing them around live. It has a little TV screen, and you can actually ask questions and say, "Oh, look over. Can you move over this way so I can see what's over here?" And like, so that it's really helping. It's not just a computer talking to you. It's kind of helping bridge a connection to people. I think we're going to see more of this. Actually, the founder of iRobot, which went bankrupt last year, his new endeavor, he hasn't gone public with exactly what it's going to do, but the name is it's Familiar Machines and Magic, the new robotics company, Familiar Machines and Magic. And I spoke with him, I interviewed with him on the Vergecast a while ago, and he kind of hinted at how, you know, this loneliness epidemic could really be we could help solve it with robotic companions. So I think we'll be seeing something from him along these lines too. So I think it is something that, to answer your question, Leo, it is a trend we're going to see more of.
It's sad that we need it, but maybe we do.
Yeah,
it is.
Yes.
And we shouldn't also
But
try to
if it
find
helps.
ways to get humans involved too. Like one of the things that I do in my spare time is work with, youth literacy programs. And one of the things we do is getting kids, if they want to sort of find ways to make their community better. And one of the ways is often going and visiting, people who are lonely, like in their community. Like, hey, can we think of anybody, who doesn't have many people to visit them and do it. So like we should also find the human ways to do this in addition to the technology
I agree.
ways.
How much is Lil Milo, the most irrationally loved product from The Verge?
I don't believe there was a price or release date. So we'll
And we should mention this as we do every year, that a lot of what you see at CES is pre-release, may never be released.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, now we did see, speaking of pre-release products that have run into challenges, the company that did the Jibo robot, maybe the most famous CES robot of all time.
Which I owned.
Of course you do.
I bought, of course.
You're Leo,
Yeah.
But they have another product, and actually two of the most maybe polished of these products that were especially aimed at kids were by them. And part of it was because one of the products they've actually had out for a while. It's called the Luca robot, Luka. So the Luca robot is a robot that reads to kids. So it reads books, and they've already sold something like 10 million of these worldwide, I think mostly in Asia. But the Luca robot, there's a new version that has AI that they showed off at the show. The Luca robot not only will read to kids, can put a physical storybook in front of them, and it can read to them, and it is very cute. But it also then can interact with them, right? It's more uses AI to interact with them in terms of the storytelling. And then they had another product, this other product, the Luca. It's like a tablet. It's essentially like a ruggedized tablet that has a camera on it, and they can go around, and it hangs around their neck. This is aimed at I think kindergartner, first grader sort of kids. They go around and in the real world, and it works in museums and things like that too. They can take a picture and then ask questions of the things that they're seeing. So they were pretty advanced. I was a little bit shocked at how advanced some of these things were. And these were one of the ones that, because they were so good, I was kind of asking them questions about privacy. I was asking about what models do you use? Where does the data go? They had good answers, and clearly they had thought through some of that. And some of these products, their products are already in market. So that was good, but I still just had a lot of questions about, getting kids sort of almost addicted to sort of daily interactions with technologies. Some of my questions about that. Would I wanted to have give that to a kid, a kindergartner or first grader, preschooler? I'm not sure.
It feels dystopian. It feels like 1984, A Brave New World, where children are raised in creches, and they don't. They have mechanical tenders and minders and so forth. But as Darren points out in our Club Twit user group, if it solves a problem and we don't have another solution, maybe we say, oh yeah, it should be solved better. Yeah, but if we don't have another solution,
then
better
help?
that than nothing, I guess.
Does it help fill the gap? Yeah.
Well, let's continue with Father Robert's top 5 countdowns. We're going to go to number 4 now in the Father Robert Hit Parade, the best of CES.
Number 4, the Densys Z1 exoskeleton. I first started seeing consumer-grade exoskeletons 5 years ago, and to say that they were early would be generous. The 2026 models are light, long-lasting, and far more comfortable. Of the units that I tried, the most comfortable and intuitive was the Densys Z1. Made from carbon fiber with a design that contours to your legs, the Z1 is a knee exoskeleton for those who suffer from joint pain. A single charge on its swappable battery will provide up to 9.3 miles of climbing assist, during which time it will offload up to 150 kilograms of weight, provide up to 20 kilograms of lifting support, and reduce stress on your knees, making you feel up to 44 pounds lighter. I tested a Z1 at the Densys booth, and it really is a strap-in and use experience. I could immediately feel the assist while walking, standing, and carrying. There is no input required aside from regular leg motions, and the device is smart enough to know how much to engage the assist function. At just over $1,000 a unit, it's a solid option for anybody who needs a bit more stability while walking, those who are standing for long periods of time, and the outdoorsman who doesn't mind going a little RoboCop.
It's kind of like a e-bike for hikers.
It is, the first one I tried a few years back, it was cool because, you felt like Iron Man, but it was extremely clunky and it was not comfortable.
Right.
The Z1 was the first one where I thought I could wear this all day. I mean, I look funny, but I would totally wear it.
All right.
Our reporter, Sean Hollister, wore one around CES the entire show, both this year and last year, different models.
Wow.
He reported about it last year, and then this year he wore the Wii robotics one.
I would totally do that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's great for Yeah, I mean, it helps because you're walking so much.
Yeah.
And he loved it.
Wow.
And the one he wore last year was quite clunky, and the one he wore this year, you barely even noticed it was on him. So these are definitely getting a lot easier. And actually, it packs down into a little box like this big, so it's really easy to
the
carry
Z1
around.
It fits into a case that's like this big.
Yeah,
So interesting. Kind of an unexpected area. Let's take a break. We've got lots more to talk about. We're doing our CES wrap up with 3 who were there and 1 who was not and is very happy. Jennifer Patterson-Toohey from The Verge, Father Robert Balassaire, the Digital Jesuit, and Jason Heiner. His brand new publication covers AI, the deep view of AI. And that's a free subscription if you go, is it thedeepview.com?
Subscribe.thedeepview.com.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Great to have all 3 of you. Our show today brought to you by Bitwarden. We love our friends at Bitwarden. It's the password manager I use and recommend. I'm of the strong opinion that if you're going to use any product that involves cryptography, it should be open source so that it's using good cryptography practices, that it doesn't have a backdoor, that it really does what it says it does. That's Bitwarden, the trusted leader in passwords, passkeys, and secrets management. 10 million users across 180 countries and more than 50,000 businesses. And that's important. Business needs strong authentication password managers for lack of a better phrase. When you're protecting one account or thousands, Bitwarden will keep you secure with consistent updates all year long. They are always adding new features. Another advantage, I think, of being open source, the new Bitwarden Access Intelligence. This is for enterprises. Organizations can use it to detect weak, reused, or exposed credentials, immediately guide remediation directly with the user. Here, let's fix it. Replacing risky passwords with strong, unique ones. That closes a major security gap every business has to be aware of. Credentials are today still the top cause of breaches. Bad passwords, weak passwords, reused passwords. But with Access Intelligence, they can become visible, prioritized, and corrected before the exploitation happens. Bitwarden also has something new that I'm really excited about. It's called Bitwarden Lite. Bitwarden Lite delivers a lightweight, self-hosted password manager. This is ideal for people like us, home labs, personal projects, environments that want quick setup, minimal overhead. Bitwarden just wants to make sure that everybody needs a password manager, should have a password manager, even in a simple environment like that. Bitwarden is now enhanced with all of the flavors of Bitwarden with real-time vault health alerts and password coaching features. This is great for business. It helps users identify weak, reused, or exposed credentials. Actually, it's great for everybody, isn't it? And take immediate action to strengthen their security. Now, if you're using or have been using your browser's password manager, you'll be glad to know, probably shouldn't be. And Bitwarden now supports direct import from your browser from Chrome, Edge, Brave, Opera, and Vivaldi. Direct import imports the credentials from the browser right into the encrypted vault. You don't have to create that separate plain text export file, which is always a risk. That simplifies migration, but it also helps reduce the exposure associated with, manual export and deletion steps. You got to remember to delete the clear passwords on your download folder. G2 Winter 2025 reports Bitwarden continues to hold strong as number one in every enterprise category, 6 straight quarters now. And Bitwarden setup is so easy. When I moved from that other password manager to Bitwarden, it was like this. They support importing from most password management solutions. It's very straightforward. And as I mentioned, GPL, open source, regularly audited by third-party experts, very secure. It meets SOC 2, Type 2, GDPR, HIPAA, CCPA compliance. It's ISO 27001-2002 certified. You really need to try it. And your business gets started today with Bitwarden's free trial of a Teams or enterprise plan. And as an individual, it's free forever, unlimited devices, unlimited passkeys. Individuals, there's no reason not to use it. Bitwarden.com/twit. Use it at business too. Bitwarden.com/twit. This is the only password manager I recommend. This is the one you should use. Bitwarden.com/twit. Thank you so much for supporting This Week in Tech. Meta showed its wristband. Now, they had this wristband. I know, Jennifer, I think it's Victoria who uses the Meta Ray-Ban display glasses. Victoria Song's a big fan of those. Have you tried those at all?
No, I've actually got, these are smart glasses, but they don't have.
What?
They
you
don't have
sneaky.
a camera.
Which ones are you wearing?
These are actually the Amazon Echo frames.
And do you like them, or you just wear them?
I actually got these specifically because I just wanted audio for me. I wasn't looking.
That's one thing Metas do very well. That sound is very good on those
yes,
glasses.
Yes.
Is it as good on the frame?
It's fine. No, I think the Metas are better, but I got these for $100, whereas the Metas
that's
are
a lot.
more expensive.
And do you have your prescription in them too? So they're your spectacles.
Yes.
Okay.
They are. I use them as my glasses, and all I wanted at this stage was audio, because I think at some point I'm going to want what is coming with smart glasses. I just don't feel like we're there yet. So
yeah,
this
I
is
agree.
kind of my stopgap.
There's also the privacy concern
heavy
of having
even
a camera
these
in there, right?
Yes, exactly.
Would you be banned from taking those on a cruise ship? Because I know most cruise ships are banning them now.
Yeah, MSC, I think, announced that they're not going to allow them in public spaces. You can have it in your cabin.
Royal as well.
Right.
Anything
That's
with
right.
a camera. Yeah, I mean, because this doesn't do any recording. These don't do any recording. It's just like having speakers
I think,
in your
you know what? For years, museums said, no cameras in the museum. We don't want to take pictures. But now everybody has a smartphone. How are you going to ban that? I think we're just going to have to get used to the idea that people are going to be...
Victoria took her Meta Ray-Bans to Italy, and she wrote a story about seeing lots of Renaissance butts. And how she used the Meta glasses to say, okay, tell me about this butt.
How many butts have I seen today, Meta?
And she said it was great for that experience, getting that information right to her without having to pull out her phone.
I love that
type
idea.
Things in.
Yeah.
Just say, tell me about
It's
this.
a tour guide. Yeah.
Yeah.
There
So
were
I
a
think
lot
that's-
of glasses at the show this year. X-Real was there. Of course, Google's got their XR. Were you impressed by any of them? Were any of them particularly something to write home about, or is it more of the same?
So V said no. I didn't see all of them, but she was like,
Right. This is kind of her
kind
beat.
of boring this year.
Yeah.
A lot of iterations, I think, and like I was sort of saying, it's like we're still waiting to get to that next point. I saw a couple people testing one with like a little scroll screen, like what the Metas are going to be doing,
Right.
showing you, and you have a little ring to scroll through what you're
Meta's put a
reading.
teleprompter now in their display, so you can
Yeah.
I can read ads as I walk around the show floor.
It would, I mean, and you could see a lot of use case for that for, in business and
Sure.
for any sort of professional, like being able to pull up that kind of information right in front of you. But I just feels like, from what I understand, I didn't see any of these devices myself because I was chasing robots, but is that that nothing's quite at that level where it's going to be mass market adoption yet. There's still
to break
a lot.
through. Yeah, none of them are ready to break through quite yet. I do think the teleprompter one is pretty interesting for. So I used during this past year, I used the Even Realities G1 and G2 products that have a teleprompter built in, and I used it in two things on stage where I had to sort of write, some remarks and go up and say them, and it worked great. I thought it was very good. Nobody noticed that it was a teleprompter, or at least didn't say anything to me. And several of them I asked, and I told them like, hey, I was using they're like, well, no, I would never have known.
Is it listening to you? How does it know what you're reading?
Yeah, so it's a teleprompter, and it sort of automatically uses AI to automatically move it forward, so you're not scrolling it yourself.
So one of the things I don't like about the Meta is the display is just in one eye, kind of down in the.
Yeah.
Is it? How do the Even displays do it?
That one's in both eyes. So it's monocolor though, so it's only green.
It looks like a green screen. Yeah, but that's fine.
It is,
right?
It's fine, and it's bright. It's much brighter. It feels much brighter than I've also used the Meta Ray-Ban's display, and the problem with it being in one eye is it does feel pretty washed out. Because of that. You can turn it up really bright, but it's still not great.
One of the things I'm really interested in is the idea of having, and this is why I'm interested maybe in the Metas, an AI assistant there to talk to ask questions of. I really want a heads-up display so it can go, that's Jennifer Patterson Toohey. You used to have
you
her
want
on
the
Twitter.
facial recognition.
I want face recognition. I want that store. Don't go in that store. That's a great place to get pho. That kind of thing. I want that kind of. Because, as I become more and more enamored of AI, I kind of want to have it with me.
With you.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I pulled the trigger on the frames, even though these are kind of an older generation now, is it does have A+.
Oh, it does?
Yes. So they brought it to the glasses and the buds, and then also the B is, I think it'll be coming.
Oh, you still have your B? Yeah, Amazon bought them.
I just got one at the show. They gave me one to try.
I got it a year ago when they announced at CES last year.
Yeah,
wore it for 6 months.
I saw you said in our Verge comments actually that you were getting rid of it.
Yeah, because Amazon bought them.
Amazon. I know. So I spoke to them about it at the show. The founder was there, and
Maria's great. We've interviewed her and
very
Evan.
Nice. Yeah,
very very nice people. And they say we're not giving that data to Amazon.
They've added additional privacy and protection layers. Like no one can access any of the recordings, not even B. There's no, they've reinforced their privacy. Because obviously there has been a lot of concern from users around that. But Amazon and B haven't announced exactly what's going to happen with B and Amazon, but it does seem fairly likely that we're going to see this sort of sink into the Alexa Plus ecosystem sooner rather than later as another input method for their AI, which they're very much trying to take outside of the home, which they've been trying to do for a long time, but with not much success. But now it seems like I think they're gearing up to be a competitor here.
Leo, if you want, a good language model on a pair of glasses, you have it access all the time. The thing is, you don't really want the Metas because it uses Llama 4 and it's just not very good.
Yeah, I've tried it. No, I have the first generation. Yeah,
but if you use the Solos glasses, so SOLOS or Rokid, ROKID, those you can both use GPT-5 on.
Oh,
and so
all right.
you have access to sort of the latest
and they look
models.
Pretty nice too. They're not bad looking glasses. These are the Solos.
They're very similar. They all look a lot like, the Meta Ray-Bans, right? The original sort of black Meta Ray-Bans. Some of, the Solos have different ones you can use, but, those I think are pretty good.
Okay, that's a little geeky looking, I admit.
They're pretty nerdy. I think the ones, the Even Realities G1s are probably, and G2s are probably the best looking. They're designed by Swiss designers, and they're made to be like premium glasses. And so I find them sort of the best aesthetically, of the ones that are out there. The software is still catching up, but it also will do. It has their own models, and then you can use ChatGPT essentially with it as well. But the hardware is amazing. The software is still catching up. I'm sure it'll get better, but the Solos and the Rokid, the software works a little better on those two.
I should mention that the A-Word Plus, Amazon's Echo AI assistant, is now available on the website to everyone in
this
early
is part
access.
of their real push to take A out of the home.
It ain't. You know what? It's not bad. One of our Echo devices got upgraded, and Lisa, my wife, was talking to it and was kind of saying, "Wow, I'm kind of having a." She used to swear at the other one. Kind of having a nice conversation because it would follow up. You can ask it more difficult questions. I know Google's doing the same thing with their voice assistant. They've added Gemini to it. And of course, part of the reason both are moving in that direction is because Apple, at some point in the next few months, we think, is going to release Siri with that kind of capability, probably based on Gemini.
White box Gemini. Yeah. They probably won't use Gemini as the word Gemini in it, but
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
well, Siri couldn't get any dumber, so
Amazon has a head start here in terms of being in the home space. They launched their agentic AI version of Alexa a lot sooner than any of their competitors. And whilst the agentic elements are still a bit shaky, and I have tested a few of them, it can actually do things for you, which is something that none of the others have really accomplished yet, although the chances are they will get leapfrogged at some point here. Although I think they use a variety of different models behind the scenes, so who knows exactly. I think Claude is one of the partners for Amazon.
I guess I'm all in on Claude now that I'm spending so much money. I better use Claude. I have them all, right? I've had the $20 subscription for everybody. Didn't pay for Grok. I have a non-consensual blue tick, as Cory Doctorow calls it, but I still got Grok. Grok is in a lot of trouble. It's generating non-consensual deep fake nudity.
At scale.
That's
impressive. Yeah.
In fact, they've been banned now from Indonesia, a number of countries. The U.S. refuses to do anything about it. Apple and Google are getting a lot of heat because they, especially Apple, despite its long-standing rejection of adult content, has done nothing about the X app in the App Store. And Elon's only response at first was to apologize, and then now he says, "Well, you can't have it for free. If you want deep fakes, you're going to have to give me money."
I mean, it does limit the number of users that can do it, for sure, but it doesn't solve
X
the problem.
is such a cesspool. Anybody still using X, get out while you still can. None of you use X, do you?
I haven't been on X for a year and a half now, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it is still, for
where
as a
everybody is.
journalist,
I know.
it's still a place where people announce things.
When Bob Weir passed, my wife said,
and-
"Did Bob Weir die?" And I said, "Well, let me check. Where do you go? You go to X."
There are still pockets as well of certain industries that are kind of isolated themselves on X, and they're not really involved with the melange.
That's what you have to do. Is you just.
And so some things you do.
Hear no evil,
I
see
was
no
talking
evil.
to someone the other day who was saying, they would love to get off X, but the VC Twitter is still a huge space. So for journalists in particular, it's something that.
Well, we have an excuse. As journalists, we kind of need to visit the cesspool.
I don't really engage on it, but I do check it.
I never engage on it.
Security Twitter disassembled about a year ago, a year and a half ago.
As did Science Twitter.
Science Twitter.
Yeah. I think Black Twitter.
I had it working properly because the little block bot that I had created, which would no longer work with the new version of Twitter, by the way, it was fantastic at weeding out the most toxic users who would even remotely interact with my account.
Block them instantly.
But then then he started charging more for the API, and that just became a non-starter.
We are going to talk in just a bit about the toilet that looks at your poop. But
every CES,
unless, that's one of your picks. I don't know. Let's find out. Number 3 on the Father Robert Hit Parade. Watch.
Number 3, the Jackery Solar Mars Bot. Imagine living off-grid and never having to worry about properly placing your solar panels for energy capture. That's possible with the Jackery Solar Marsbot, an AI-enabled autonomous vehicle that is part robot, part power bank. At the top of the bot are 6 solar panels that are safely stored in the bot's hat that is held by a double-axis arm that allows for 60 degrees of tilt. In that hat is a light tracking sensor that determines the optimal inclination of the solar panels for capture. The lighting system automatically rotates the bot and angles the hat before deploying its panels for up to 600 watts of power generation. When deployed, the unit's AI can waypoint to optimal charging locations, follow users, and automatically return the bot to its charging station on overcast days or when its energy storage is full. The unit I played with has a 5,000 watt-hour battery, a complement of USB-C, PD, 110 and 220 volt outputs, and up to 3,000 watts of constant power. That's enough to keep a small off-grid cabin fully powered for 2 days, even without additional sunlight.
So
It's totally niche. I get it. I get
how
it. Most
much
people
power
don't
can
need
you
that.
generate with a little panel, though? I mean, it's not that
600
big.
watts. 600 watts.
But how
So-
long does it take to do that?
Well, I mean, that's the thing about the solar tracking. So rather than having to build your house or your cabin so that it properly
You just put that thing in the yard, and it
You put it in the yard and you let it go from spot to spot, always optimizing its solar capture.
Actually, that's
It's
really
a cool
interesting.
idea.
Yeah,
It is neat. They actually, I mean, that came out. They launched that a couple of years ago. I'm not sure it's
24,
actually ever shipped, though, right? Or did it?
Well,
maybe
so-
they announced it in 23. But it is a neat idea, though. The thing that really caught my eye at CES from Jackery was the gazebo, the solar power.
Oh, the solar gazebo. Yeah, that was cool.
okay.
I want
You
that in
know,
my
I don't have
backyard.
anywhere to put a gazebo, but what? So this is it sits outside and actually doesn't look like a gazebo. It looks like a little house out there.
Yeah, and it has 2,000 watts of solar panels and an integrated lighting and a pull-down projector screen and outlets, and you can put the Jackery power stations in it so that you can basically.
So is it a
you
man
basically get
cave? What is it?
outdoor? Yeah, it's an outdoor. It's an outdoor.
Oh,
living
it's
room.
yeah. You'd put it in your patio.
Yeah,
It's like a solar cover for your patio. I see.
Yeah, so you just hang out.
Oh,
in the
that's
backyard.
clever.
I know, but like 15,000.
Oh, now Leo wants it.
Well, if you put in, we used to have our old house had 30 or 40 solar panels. It was much more than $15,000, but it was great. I mean, we were off the grid. We had 2 Tesla batteries, and I never had to worry. This is interesting.
I think it's
I've
really
wanted to
cool.
be off grid for a while. Just get a piece of land in the middle of nowhere, Nevada, and I'm kind of getting into the renewables now.
So
Neat.
2,000 watts, 10 kilowatt hours a day. Is that? I guess that's enough to you know, small house refrigerator. Could I have a refrigerator?
I mean,
Can
it
I have a
doesn't have
TV?
walls, so this isn't really for living.
No. I know, but this powers the house it's attached to. It's not, right?
No, I think it's just powering itself.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I think it's just so that you can power your outdoor appliances and things.
oh, I see. I want it to power the house.
The rule
Yeah.
of thumbs is per person, you're going to be budgeting about 2,000 watt hours a day.
Oh,
that
so this would
be enough to drive your
A family of
appliances.
5 could
Exactly.
live off this.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's
you'd have
actually
to
then-
live underneath the gazebo.
in that respect, if you could plug it into your internal
It looks like you could.
Yeah,
It looks
that'd
like
be
you could
good
put it
for-
into your house,
If you,
yeah.
especially like my house, I can't put panels on
Right.
all of my
I don't
roof
wanna put 'em
because
on the
I have-
roof. Yeah.
Well, I also have too many trees. Like we could only put panels
Yes.
in like a little corner. And now if I could put this in a sunny spot in my yard, I could get more power.
Oh,
Instead of
yeah.
just sticking the solar farm in your yard, you put
Right.
a nice gazebo in your yard.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I guess
Jackery
you
does
could.
come up with some pretty innovative stuff. So
Yeah.
it's
I
whether
did
it's-
like their they've got a power station that it's not, you can't submerge it, but it is basically waterproof. And
Oh, wow.
that I kind of like because you're going to be using a lot of these out in the outdoors. So
Right. Let's see. What else here? Oh, the throne. What did I do my ad yet? Oh, I was going to do an ad. I'm sorry. Let me do the ad and then the throne. Then we'll check out the throne. You're watching This Week in Tech, our CES episode, all the great stuff that may never make it to your house, with Jennifer Pattison-Toohey, Jason Heiner, and Father Robert Ballasare. Our show. Okay. It's coming from inside the house. Our show today brought to you by a brand new sponsor, and I'm really excited. I don't even know if you know about this, Robert, but this is really cool. Meter. Meter is the company building better networks, and it was created by two network engineers who really knew the pain points that network engineers face: legacy providers, inflexible pricing, IT resource constraints, right? You never have enough budget, stretching you thin, complex deployments across fragmented tools. The network is mission critical to the business. But as a network engineer, often you're working with infrastructure that just wasn't built for today's demands. I want you to know about Meter. Newer company with a brilliant vision. It's a full stack networking infrastructure. From the ISP to the hardware to cellular. This is why businesses are switching to Meter. Full stack networking that's built for performance and scalability. They design their own hardware. They write their own firmware. They build the software. They manage the deployment if you want them to. And they provide support. So you can have everything from them come out and put the whole thing in and run it and everything to, I mean, you get your choice of how you want it. You know, you got your job, you set it up. They help you as a support team. They offer everything from ISP procurement to security to routing to switching to wireless to firewall. I talked to these guys. I was so impressed. You know, they'll go into companies, you know, it's not unusual for a company to acquire warehouses with their own kind of wireless infrastructure from, 2002, right? They come in and they make it so not only so that the warehouse is fully operational, but it integrates with your existing stack back at the home office. This includes power, cellular if you need it, DNS security. They will help you with VPNs, with SD-WANs, and these multi-site workflows really are a solution. All from one company, one solution, Meter. Meter's single integrated networking stack scales from major hospitals. If you've ever spent any time in hospitals, you know it's the worst place for connectivity, right? Meter solves that. Branch offices, out in the boonies, and you got to get to the home office, warehouses, large campuses, data centers. You know who uses Meter? Reddit. The assistant director of technology for the Web School of Knoxville. Perfect example. He said, we had more than 20 games on our campus between two facilities, each game streaming via wired and wireless connections, and the event went off without a hitch. We could never have done this before Meter redesigned our network. That's a direct quote. With Meter, you get a single partner for all your connectivity needs. That's nice too, because if something doesn't work, the ISP doesn't say, well, it's not our fault. It's all part of the plan, right? From first site survey to ongoing support without the complexity of managing multiple providers or tools. Meter's integrated networking stack is designed to take the burden off your IT team and give you deep control and visibility, reimagining what it means for businesses to get and stay online. And these days, if you're not online, you aren't in business. This is table stakes. Meter, built for the bandwidth demand of today and tomorrow. We thank Meters for sponsoring. Go to meter.com/twit to book a demo now. That's meter.com/twit to book a demo. This is the new standard for networking. Brand new, very exciting. Meter.com/twit. I want you to check it out. Meanwhile, the throne is checking out your poop. As Daniel Cooper says it in Gadget, who doesn't want a camera in their toilet? Now, this isn't a whole toilet. This is just a camera you hook onto the side. We do see these every year at CES.
Yes.
Why? Is there a demand?
Well, you can learn a surprising amount of very accurate information about the state of your body by what comes out of it. So
of course.
all of these companies,
that's why doctors are always asking for samples, right?
Exactly. I mean, it shows what your metabolic rate is. It shows if you've got any buildup of toxins. And if you can have a piece of technology that just sits in that receptacle all day, why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I can think of lots of reasons.
I am shocked Jennifer Patterson Tui, that you don't actually have
A
one of
camera
these
my
in your
toilet?
lab. Yeah.
No, I leave all that stuff to V.
Now,
Sean
if there was a
Hollister, let
robot
Sean
that
do it.
followed you around with a little bag, you'd be okay with that, right? I mean, because that's your beat. So
So no best of CES award for the whoop.
for the poop toilet.
The whoop.
No, I do think that the P one from last year did win an award. There was one,
Well, there you
the
go.
Why Things
You
P
see?
thing.
Yeah.
But yes, this is, I mean, measuring the metrics, looking, having every part of our body and movement tracked.
It's the quantified self, baby.
Yes, that's
Get with
where
the program.
we're moving.
Yeah.
And then we feed it all into your smart home AI, and then your home can kind of respond to you and say, no, do not take the big steak out of the fridge. It's bad for you. It's going to tell you what you're allowed to do now, and then we're all going to be in trouble.
I mean, really, we're all I wear an Apple Watch. I wear a continuous glucose monitor. I wear an Oura Ring. I mean, we're all, kind of putting on these devices. I admit they're still a little bit less than, fully operative, but we're getting there. In fact, Apple
Remember,
seems to.
ChatGPT Health was just released this week too. Announced and not fully released.
I want to hook that up so that you put it on your iPhone and you hook it up to your Apple Health, right? I signed up. I haven't
other
gotten it
sensor
yet.
too. Yeah, multiple sensors. You can upload, your test results to it. You can do all kinds of things. Now, what they said is, the Fiji Simo, the CEO of apps, said that 200,000 people a month are already uploading and asking about health questions and uploading their data. I can say that I knew 2 people this past year who had something come up in their health. They essentially were going to have to get an appointment with a specialist that was a month away. So they got sort of a negative indicator, right? And they were like, okay, we'll schedule an appointment for the specialist for you to look at. So they freaked out, right? Because like you do, like, oh my gosh, I've got something that's going to be terrible. And in both cases, these are 2 separate people that just reached out to me and told me this. In both cases, they went on their health portal, downloaded the test themselves, upload it to ChatGPT in one case and Claude in the other case. And they said, read this for me. Should I be worried? And in both cases, it gave them very detailed interpretations of the data.
There's some risk there, though, isn't there? Of hallucinations, of inaccuracies. I mean, I don't know.
For sure.
Yeah.
But in both cases, but it was enough that before they went to the specialist, they
had
in
something
both
to ask.
cases,
Yeah.
they were like a little relieved. And in one case, so the one was relieved. And when she went to the doctor, when this person went to the doctor, they told them something very similar. The other one, when they went to the doctor, they shared that that they were, and they said, "Hey, this is what I got from ChatGPT," and the specialist looked at it and was like, "Wow, that's pretty good, actually. That's really, that's really close. Can you leave this with me, so I can have a copy?" So it was really interesting. So I guess my point is just that people are doing it already. There are all kinds of reasons to be wary about uploading, very sensitive data that could have, very negative ramifications if it were leaked and someone accessed, your health data to a source like ChatGPT. But, at the same time, we have to expect that this is coming not just from OpenAI, but from all of the others, as well.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, Google and Apple and Amazon and others have been trying to do things like this for years and get people to put all their health data in their ecosystems.
Yeah. Well, or in your toilet, as the case may be.
In the toilet, too. Upload your toilet
if
data
Amazon
straight.
wants to send everyone free toilets, they can have all that data for free. Sure.
It's a razor blade scheme.
Moving on. Jennifer, your favorite device of CES was the Aqara smart lock. It's funny. I just replaced all my Aqaras with Schlags. Did I make a mistake?
Which Schlags? The Uncode?
Yeah. It's a HomeKit enabled.
Yes. You didn't
yeah.
make a mistake. That's a great lock.
Good.
If you're happy with Apple Home Key,
That's what I wanted. I wanted to walk up to the door and have it open 'Cause
Okay,
I
no,
have
then
my
you did
iPhone in
make
my
a
pocket.
mistake.
Yeah. I did?
Unfortunately. Well,
Oh.
because the Schlage won't be able to do that. The new Schlage, which they announced last year and still hasn't launched, will be able to do it.
Okay.
But what is so special about the U400 is it's the first smart lock to support Apple HomeKey's hands-free unlocking.
That's what I wanted.
Uses WB.
Yeah.
And that has there's two locks
Because I can do that with my car now, and I really like that.
the same technology. It's exactly the same technology. And so this is it was announced a couple of years ago that Apple was going to support this in HomeKey. So it's the same concept as HomeKey, but the HomeKey that you have with the Schlage lock
car
is
key.
tap.
Right.
So it's
tap.
to
Yeah, I don't.
It's NFC.
Yeah, I don't mind tap because I'm a little nervous that the door will just open itself.
Lock when you don't want to.
So
yeah.
this is
or lock when
this is what's taken a while for the technology to come out, because obviously you've had it, but this is something you have in the car too. Is it does have directional awareness.
The
So it knows-
UWB makes a big difference.
Yes, it knows that you're approaching, from which direction you're approaching, and actually when you set up the lock in a Kara's app or in the Apple Home app, there's a little you can turn off approach from direction, so you can turn it so it's just from
I didn't know that.
from the front of the door.
Don't come in from the side.
If you want, but
or
you know,
from the
my
air,
house,
if you're a drone.
my path is along the side, so I want that on. But you can
interesting.
control where it's detecting you from. But one of the key things is it does not open when you are walking from inside your house.
That's
towards
something
the
I had to
door.
turn
Get
off
near
in
the
my
lock
car
when
because my
you're-
car. I'm above the garage right now. My car would unlock all the time. It was going beep, beep, beep. I kept beep. So I finally had to say, and BMW just added this feature. Yeah, when I'm at home, don't do that.
Yeah. So this is designed to. It will not unlock from if you're anywhere inside the house.
Good.
It will not.
That's what
unlock
I
if
was worried about. Yeah.
And it will not unlock if you just walk past the house. It
Okay.
knows intent of direction.
So you have to be walking up to it.
Up to the door, and also it knows velocity. So if you're walking slowly, it will unlock a little bit later. So it's going to unlock at the same time, no matter how fast you're moving.
that's
so if you're
clever.
running to get in, it'll quicker. So you can, no matter what, as you get to your door and open the handle.
That's cool.
It's very impressive, and that's why I chose this lock, because it's the first one that supports Apple HomeKey. But what's really interesting here, and which is why it was more relevant at CES, because Apple Home is quite a niche system still, even though there's a lot of people that use it. It's still small, but Apple is part of a new protocol called Alero, which is a smart lock standard that is going to bring all of the HomeKey features, that tap to unlock and the UWB hands-free unlocking, to any platform. So
Apple,
Google,
Samsung, and Google are
Samsung,
involved
They're
in
all
it.
part of this, and all the major lock manufacturers are part of it as well. And it's specifically, and one of the big concerns people have about this, obviously, is, well, if someone steals my phone, can they unlock my house? Well, if someone steals your key, can they unlock your house? I mean, that isn't something that's going to go away. But the nice thing about a smartphone is you can remotely wipe it. Can't do that with a key. But it does require you to turn off the facial recognition or fingerprint unlocking that you might have on your phone, because it's not going to work with it. The whole hands-free point is that not completely, just for this lock.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. When do I turn it off?
So when you set up hands-free unlock in Apple Home, it will say enable express mode, which you may have seen with the HomeKey NFC feature, which means you can use this without authenticating by unlocking the phone. So because it's faster, you still have to have authenticated that it's your phone at some point within the last, I think it's 24 hours is the time window. So if if your phone was lost for a while and someone picked it up, they wouldn't be able to use it. But yeah, it does require you to turn on express mode, which bypasses facial recognition or PIN code authentication. So if you are worried about it from that perspective, then this is not a technology for you. But it is it is hands-free. You do not need to touch your door other than to unlock it, but door manufacturers are working towards automatic opening as well. We've actually seen there was a new company that just launched last December called Doma from the founders of August, which was the first smart lock that had this hands-free unlock capability, but that used Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and GPS, and 3 radios working together invariably meant it was not very accurate. But this is a very specific radio to antenna, phone to lock technology that I got to test this before CES, and it worked flawlessly. It was a really good experience. And what's great about this new standard Aliro is it's bringing this technology to every platform and every manufacturer across handsets and locks. So it's not going to be just limited to Apple going forward.
Hallelujah.
Which is, and it's a great example of how standards are working in the smart home to make the smart home a lot easier and more accessible. And it's not just for homes either. This could also be used for offices, businesses. So you could just basically use your phone as a key for everything, which, I mean, and there are obviously the other the concern about security is hacking, and this is one of the reasons it's taken a really long time to launch this standard. Well, not really long, but they were supposed to launch it earlier last year, and it's now not launched. Yeah. It's launching this quarter. But they use asymmetric. I'm going to test my memory right here. It's asymmetric security, so it's not. So every time the code is sent between the two devices, it's different. So,
like the rolling code for your garage door.
So you're not going to, even if someone did manage to hack in and get the code, the next time it's going to be different. Yeah. So that should, I mean, obviously, once it's in the real world, we'll see if there are any flaws, but they feel pretty confident. I spoke to the head of Aliro at CES, and they wouldn't give me the exact details yet because the spec hasn't been released, but they said they feel pretty confident that the security is really high. And I said, this is being developed by a number of companies. So they're working, and, for a lock manufacturer like Schlage and Assa Abloy and Yale, Kwikset, they're all on board. And when I've spoken to them, they've all said that they feel like this is a real game changer for the smart lock space. So that was my pitch.
Just bought the Schlage.
I'm sorry.
I don't think it'll work in my place because our locks have like 7-pound keys made out of wrought iron. I don't think that's
gonna. I mean, at this point, I'm not sure that's retrofittable to the BC buildings.
Yes, anything before the dark
Smart
ages.
in your case means you could bludgeon another human being with it if they try to mug you.
Our smart locks is there's a Jesuit brother standing by the door who will unlock it for you.
Or a Swiss guard with a halberd.
Smarter than that.
Yes.
Much smarter.
Yes.
Which, by the way, Leo, so I was very enamored by the anti-gravity drone that was being displayed at CES. I really wanted to get one for my office.
Yeah.
And I got the expense approved. And then I got a message from a friend in the Swiss Guard who said, don't bring that.
No drones. Are they really from Switzerland, by the way, the Swiss Guard?
They are. Huh. Although there is a Filipino Swiss Guard 2 years ago. He was the very first one. You just have to be born in Switzerland. So his parents were from the Philippines. There you go. Yeah.
That's really, so they kind of on loan to the Pope from Switzerland?
Yes. It's a choice assignment. So they only send their best. They send the people who are a bit elite.
Best people in the best clown outfits.
Precisely.
Yes.
And the pay is not great, but it's completely untaxable. Oh. And you continue to receive half of it for the rest of your life.
Oh, nice.
If you complete your tour. So it's kind of nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. What about this lock-in that you have on your article? It looks like it's in a time tunnel. What is that all about?
So that's a different smart lock. So this is another really interesting technology around smart locks is wireless charging. And this lock-in was showing off a new type of wireless charging that it's using because now most smart locks...
that thing around it isn't just like for show, that's actually charging it, the time tunnel it's in?
No, that was just for show.
Okay. It does look like that's how you go through that and you'd be all charged up.
I was about to say, wait a minute. So it's radiating stuff?
What is it? Is it wireless charging?
Yeah, so if you scroll down in the article to the section where I mentioned the lock, there's a little picture. There's a picture, and you can see the little puck. You have to click to the right.
Oh, it's got a little puck.
It's a little puck, yeah. So if you click to the right, there's another image there.
Oh, I see.
And the puck is plugged in, and then
So that's reasonable, because otherwise I'm putting in batteries every few months into
that's
my
the
smart
issue
lock.
with smart locks right now,
Yeah.
and that's why locks
Yes,
are limited right now, because you can't. So you've probably seen, and on the show floor this year there were facial recognition, 3D facial recognition locks. There were palm
kinda
vein
cool.
unlocks. This lock in particular has so many different ways that you can unlock with finger vein, palm vein, 3D recognition. That the handle is a palm reader, so as you hold the door, it reads
I
your
like
palm.
that. What's a
But
finger vein, though? Is that different from
the
fingerprint?
Vein, yes, and that's the palm vein is the same, uses the same technology. So it's actually reading the blood running through your veins rather than the fingerprint, because fingerprints can be manipulated. They can be also
Is there something unique
inaccurate.
about the blood running through my veins?
The vein pattern is unique on your
Wow.
palm and your finger, so it's considered more accurate than a fingerprint.
Okay.
But it has 3 biometric unlockings. It has 2 cameras. It has for the built-in video doorbell, and then it has the interior and exterior touchscreen, with the cute little avatar. So you can create an avatar that greets.
Yeah, it's a cute
visitors
little
for
guy
you.
in there. Yeah.
But because it's got like a regular door lock, if
He's
it had
got
4
horns.
AA batteries, would last like a day with all this technology. But because this one is wirelessly charged, it can power. It can do things that most door locks can't.
How
because it
long,
has
though?
that
I mean, do you have to put
continual
the
power.
puck on every day?
So no, the puck sits within a 4-meter range somewhere in the house. As long as it has line of sight, you just plug it in.
So it
and
is radiating.
It's using wireless infrared charging,
that's
wireless
cool.
optical charging to just continually power the lock. And it said that if your power goes out in the home and the lock is not being charged, it should last up to a week, which is obviously wouldn't be good in a regular use. But as long as if you were out of power for a week, you have other.
It'd be good,
issues.
like if your cat slept on the puck and kept it from charging. You want it to keep working.
It would still work for a while. Yeah. And so, this lock itself is very expensive, and it's also a mortise lock, which most people aren't going to be using
What's
in
that?
the US. So that's the European style, or the really fancy high-end doors will have the mortise lock. It's not a deadbolt, basically. So it's the sort of real mechanical. I think when you go into like an apartment building, quite often they have mortise door locks. So they're more expensive, much heavier. Someone just dropped a picture of it in the chat that shows it has a lot. It's a different type of technology from a deadbolt. But they do have a deadbolt version. But what's interesting here is when you have wireless power, there is so much more you can do with the technology in your door. And then this one does also support Matter, and they said they will have UWB support in the future too. So it would have the hands-free unlocking. So lots of exciting things going on in the door lock space.
You might have a mortise lock in your Vatican housing. It's a kind of old-fashioned kind of a lock.
No, seriously, our locks are embedded into marble. So
You could have a marble mortise.
our house is really, really part of our house goes back 500 years, and part of our house goes back. The new part of our house goes back 120 years.
Oh, the new quarters.
The new one.
Yeah.
The new one. Yeah.
Now, you could also get a Ythings Body Smart scale. I think I have the predecessor to this. It's got a handle that you hold while you're stepping on the scale.
Yeah,
have a body
That should be part of the
interesting.
smart lock. That should go outside, and you just have to weigh in.
It's checking your veins. Yeah.
This is interesting because this was, and Victoria, our wearables reporter, was talking about this on our best of video, that it's representing a kind of longevity, a shift from health tech to be about losing weight or tracking to tracking your immediate condition to be
Right.
about longevity and helping you sort of focus on health in the way that is going to help you
Yeah, my
live longer
my
and
body
be more-
scan scale says I am 2 years older than my chronological age.
Right. Yeah. And this is supposedly does measures a number of metrics, but one of them is specifically through your foot sweat, which
I do the foot sweat test.
Okay.
I don't know what it's telling me, but I know you have to stand on the scale, and I don't know. Is it sending electrical current through my feet? It's doing something.
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 Yes.
Leo, do you remember we had a Y things in the studio that broke?
Might have been my Y things.
It might have been, like 10, 11 years ago. It broke, and on Know How, we improved it.
Oh,
I installed a small MP3 player so that when someone stepped on it, it would go,
you're too heavy.
That
might have been my old one because it was tweeting my weight for a while.
Yeah, it was not appreciated.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, I think this one is supposed to she was saying it sort of helps take away the focus on just your weight.
Just weight.
Be more about other elements of your
It does my heartbeat. It does a little 30-second EKG basically. But it always says,
this one is a non-invasive metabolic health. So this is to do with, maybe you don't have to use a toilet camera. You can just use
I don't know how
foot
accurate,
sweat.
though, this can be with foot sweat. I mean...
Yeah. Well, she said there is scientific evidence to back up some of this, but we'll see once she's had a chance to test it.
Victoria also liked this L'Oreal LED face mask.
Just because you could dress as Vecna for Halloween, she said.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There is, I will say, like, there's a really good scale. It's a Chinese knockoff company called Greater Goods that has like a smart scale.
I have
like
their
$30.
I have their blood pressure monitor. It's really good.
Yeah.
$30.
They make really, really good stuff. The scale
Cheap.
is like $30 versus like $100 or $200.
Oh no! Like this Y things is $500 or $600.
$500.
Yeah.
It probably comes off the same assembly line. So I mean,
probably does.
Right. There's also that. There is also that. So anyway,
it's 5 o'clock. I'm kicking off. All right, you good guys, come on in here. You get the next shift.
So if anybody doesn't want to spend $600 but wants to have the basics of the smart scale that still manages to get your foot sweat digitally analyzed, Greater Goods, $30 Amazon.
That foot sweat is a bioimpedance spectroscopy, if you'd like to know the actual name.
Oh,
there you go.
Ooh.
Yes.
Sounds really fancy.
Right on.
BIS.
The goal is to simulate the sweat glands, I'm reading from Victoria's piece, that are inside your feet with a tiny, safe current. We measure... I do this. I don't know what it's telling me. We measure the maximum activity response from those sweat glands. If the activity's high, it means your glands are healthy. If not, they're not
it means
healthy.
that it's electrocuting you to make you sweat.
Actually, it's good
put that in
because I am a type 2 diabetic, and as you know, one of the consequences of diabetes is that you can get your feet amputated because you don't have good circulation. So it's actually good for it to test that. I don't know. I don't know how useful it is as a diagnostic. Anyway, I get on it every day and stand there. It feels like it for an hour while it's measuring all that stuff and says you're old.
Together the information from your smart blood pressure reader, from your smart scale,
well, that's what I'm saying.
CGM.
Put it all into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And then it could say, either my watch has stopped or you're dead.
Let us go back to Casey Kasem. I think we're at number 4 on the top.
Well, actually, it's number 2. It's our 4th.
Right.
But it's number 2 in Father Robert's CES picks. Watch.
Number 2, LG Mobility. Tucked away into the center of the LG booth on the show floor was their tech demonstrator for their mobility display solution. A combination of a transparent OLED display embedded into a windshield, the car's sensors, and an onboard AI that delivers important context-aware information to the driver. When I first saw it, I thought that it would be too much, that the information would become a driving hazard, but it would appear that LG has put in the engineering time to make sure that only immediately usable and actionable data is presented to the driver. For example, potential hazards ahead, information about the vehicles surrounding the user, GPS directions presented by highlighting turn information, red light duration, and enhanced vision in low visibility environments. In a vehicle that has full autonomous driving, the screen can switch to visual displays that keep the users engaged and looking forward, helping them to keep at least a partial eye on the road while their vehicle has control.
That's really cool.
You
Were
must
there a
have
lot of
seen
car
this.
products at CES? I know they took the cars out of the South Hall.
They're all in the West Hall.
They're on the West Hall now.
That's the new fancy hall.
Oh, the West Hall is? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we come back, we could talk a little bit about other car technology. You're watching our CES wrap-up with Father Robert Balliser, Jennifer Pattison-Toohey, and Jason Heiner. So glad you're here, especially our club members. Thank you for being here. Our show today brought to you by Delete Me. Oh, man, when you go online and you do a little search for your name, I don't recommend it. You will be kind of disappointed, saddened, scared by how much personal data is out there on the internet. Anything people want to know, your name, contact info, even your social security number, your home address, information about your family members, because all of this data is being compiled completely legally by data brokers. And the worst part is data brokers can sell this online to anybody, whether it's marketers, government, law enforcement, foreign countries. Anybody on the web can buy your private details, including your social security number. And this can lead to identity theft, to phishing attempts, doxing, harassment. But now you can do something about these data brokers with Delete Me. See that address? joindeleteme.com/twit. I live in public. We are very vulnerable. In fact, we've been phished many times. That's why I recommend, and that's why Twit uses, in fact, every company should be using this for their management. Delete Me. You should use it as an individual. You should use it as a company. It solves the problem. It keeps us protected. Delete Me is a subscription service that removes your personal information from hundreds of data brokers. And the worst part is there are more every single day because it's such a lucrative business. You'll sign up. You'll tell Delete Me exactly what you want deleted. And their experts take it from there. You do control it. If you say, well, no, don't delete everything, just delete this. They will, you tell them what you want. Then they will go out, they will delete it. But this is why it's a subscription service. They continually monitor. They will send you regular privacy reports showing what they found, where they found it, what they removed. But it's not a one-time service because these data brokers change their names, new ones spring up. And frankly, it's a little bit of a sketch business, right? So they, even though you've told them, don't keep my information, they go, well, this is new information, and they'll start repopulating the profile. Delete Me is always working for you, constantly monitoring and removing that personal information you don't want on the internet. To put it simply, Delete Me does all the hard work of wiping you, your family, your business's personal information from data broker websites and keeping it off. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private. Sign up for Delete Me. We've got a special discount for our users. We use it. We recommend it. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you visit joindeleteme.com/twit and use the promo code TWIT at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to visit joindeleteme.com/twit and enter the code TWIT at checkout. joindeleteme.com/twit and the offer code is TWIT. It really, really works. And I can say that from personal experience. Okay. Well, cars. Was it? I don't know. Jennifer, you probably don't cover cars particularly.
No, I didn't make it into the West Hall at all, actually, because it's a trek. But I did see the Dreamy car. Dreamy had a car.
Dreamy had a car. This is crazy. These companies are...
I know.
But, was it a home automation car? Does it drive around inside?
It was just a car, and it didn't do much, but it was very green, which I liked. But Robert, I know our editor, our automotive editor picked... was it the Mercedes?
Yeah, he liked the Mercedes.
The self-driving, and he got to test it, and he was really impressed with this new kind of level 2, is it? The full self-driving?
Yeah. Level 2 is...
That was the best.
I mean, we're not going to get anytime soon to completely autonomous vehicles. So the smart thing to do is to be reasonable about what you can do. This is Mercedes Drive Assist Pro, and Andrew Hawkins, who's a very good automotive reporter for The Verge, said it was the only thing there that they could actually test. They let him drive it. Partially autonomous driver assist. Everybody's being very careful since Elon's been sued and The state of California said you're not going to be able to keep selling Teslas if you keep saying it's autopilot. So everybody's being very careful about what they claim.
Yeah,
You know, West Hall this year, without BYD actually did make a notable splash last year.
They were at CES last year, even though you can't buy them in America.
They were there, and
That's
they were
the
showing
big
off their
Chinese
tech.
EV maker, #1 car maker in the world now.
Yep.
So this year we had the Sony Alphea 1, which they had last year. So it's just an incremental increase on the prototype. They had the Waymo Ojai, they had the Tensor Robocar, and then the BMW iX3. I think that was the big one because they actually had part of the parking lot so you could go outside. Now, I wish they had done what Mercedes did, must have been 20 years ago. They used to have the thing called the Mercedes Test Drive. They had taken over one of the parking lots, and it was actually a little course.
Well, that's fun.
So you could check out a vehicle and take it around.
Yeah, he
No
actually
one-
went up to
no one
San
does that
Francisco to take a test drive.
Yeah, 'cause he never comes to CES. I don't know.
Oh,
why.
lucky fella.
But yeah, the
fella.
BMW I think is the one that has Alexa Plus in it too, right?
Yes, it does. Yes.
So I
I
saw
have-
that they had that in the Amazon booth, but you couldn't drive it though.
Yeah, I will never turn on Alexa in my BMW. I use Apple's CarPlay, but the BMW voice is so awful. Some of these car voices, it's like, come on, this is not even close to the standard now.
But the big announcement was that with every BMW iX3 that you buy, you get, I think it's 15 cases of Drakkar Noir.
So at least you smell good as you're driving around.
Love it. You know,
Your
NVIDIA,
Verge folks liked, Allison liked everybody likes the Galaxy Z Trifold, the 3.
Yeah.
But I've heard some reliability issues with it, so I'm not sure you'd want to buy it.
If you fold it more than 10,000 times, probably. You'll start to get some creasing. But I mean, foldable tech is actually quite durable. If you want to damage it, you can. But if you're treating it gently, it lasts forever.
I have the latest Galaxy Fold, just the 2 fold, the 7. It's quite nice. It's very thin.
Yeah.
I am very excited about what Apple's going to do. Rumored to be doing later this year. I think that might be the one.
Yeah, and they
The
actually
Galaxy
had
Fold.
doesn't say they had the
The
display.
Samsung
in the
screen
Samsung
was there,
display.
which they took away. Did
and
you
they
get
took
to see
it
it?
away.
Yeah. Did
We
you
were
get to
very
see it
excited
before
about
they took it
No,
away?
we just saw an empty hole on the display where it was supposed to be.
Well, they weren't. Apparently, they weren't supposed to be showing it, but
of a tell on that one for sure.
Yeah.
You know? But the Z Fold 7, I hate calling it that. The Fold 7 is the first one that's like, okay, when it's closed, it feels like a regular phone, and you're like, great, and then it opens up. So it's so close. It's like 90% of the way there. So I feel like this year, we get a lot closer, and the Apple one will be, I think really good. And the ones from, the Honor Magic V5 was even a little better than the Chinese phones have been even better for a couple of years. The Fold 7 is really catching up to them. I did want to go back. So I think this is going to be a big year for foldables. I did want to go back to one thing on the cars at CES though, was I think the most significant thing wasn't anything that was shown there, because most of it was really all stuff we'd heard before, seen before, or it was not that exciting. But Nvidia announced the Alpha Mayo model. So it's the first chain of thought reasoning model, and they released it as an open model. So a lot of the problems for these vehicles is, and you kind of expressed it, Leo, it's like, it's not that they don't have the hardware to do it, it's the software. The software is where a lot of the problems are. And Alpha Mayo, Nvidia released
that is by the worst
an open model.
That is the worst name. Alpha Mayo sounds like it's a dog food sandwich. What is ALPAMAYO?
I know. It's a special kind of mayonnaise that you only can release.
Sound good.
Only eat when you're in the Alps or something.
It's safe reasoning based autonomous vehicle.
It utilizes the power of the edge. So they had it at the Amazon booth in the West Hall. It was one of the vendors there. And essentially they're trying to move away from the old foundational model where you had the huge LLM that did everything. And they're allowing the local compute power to take over some of the specifics. So you take the foundational model, but then you build in your driving habits, the environment in which your car will normally exist. And it's supposed to be a more efficient way to give your car self-driving.
Okay.
And
When are we going to see
these
these
world models too, right?
I do know that the Mercedes that we talked about has an Nvidia chip in it, an Nvidia AI in it. When is Alpa Mayo going to come to my car?
It's coming this year, but I know Alpa Mayo.
Alpa Mayo.
So the thing is it's they're releasing it as an open model. Obviously works on top of their hardware, but this is gonna, I think, help some of these car makers that are really struggling with the software side of things.
Yeah.
It's going to help them advance potentially, a lot further. This is definitely Nvidia saying, let's advance this self-driving car thing a lot faster, folks. And since you're struggling with it so badly, we're just going to give you all the technology. We're going to, the software to do it, and we're going to make it available openly. You can use our hardware to do it, and we're going to streamline this so that we can speed up the development of all of this.
Alpa Mayo, by the way, is one of the most conspicuous peaks in the Peruvian Andes. It's a mountain.
Perfect.
So,
Thank you for clearing that one up. That's the first I've heard it. That's the first I've heard it.
Yeah.
It's not a sandwich. But, the most interesting thing that happened in self-driving cars, that it wasn't at CES, but it happened in the last month, and I feel like it was a bit under the radar, was actually Rivian going all in on AI. They announced this in December, and they announced a couple specific things that are really interesting. They've been working on this essentially for 4 years, and they took the wraps off of it. They announced that they're making their own chip. They have one of Tesla's former engineers that's now their head of autonomy. They released their own chip, so they're sort of going to have all of their own processing power, similar to Tesla. They're integrating LiDAR into the vehicle, right? So one of the problem with the edge cases of self-driving is that in the dark, in other things, radar and LiDAR, which Tesla vehicles don't have, it makes it really tough when it's in the dark, when it's raining, when you have sort of these other edge cases. It's going to have that. It used to be, and Tesla said, we're never putting LiDAR in because it's just too expensive, because it used to cost $10,000 to $20,000 to put LiDAR in the vehicle. But now it's only cost a few $1,000s, and it doesn't have those big giant spinning things on the vehicle anymore. It's actually looks like just above the visor, of the car, there's this little thing. So, Rivian is taking this really far, and essentially they said they're working toward level 4 autonomy.
That's true autonomy at that point.
That's true autonomy, where you can send the vehicle to go pick up your kids, where it can drive you to the airport and then drive itself home and park itself, in the garage. And so I thought that all of that stuff that they, announced and they showed sort of some of the pathway to doing that. And they're also about to release in this vehicle that is much more affordable, under $50,000. The average new vehicle in the US is $50,000. So releasing an under $50,000 vehicle.
That'd be huge.
Would be big for them. This could be like Rivian's, breakout year, similar to like when Tesla released the Model 3. It feels like Rivian is building toward its sort of version of the Model 3, but also, autonomy, a pathway toward autonomy at the same time. And they see their vehicles as potentially being able to be used as, robotaxis, but also for people who want to keep a vehicle and use it and have autonomy in the sort of the level 4 sense, that they have a path to that too. So I thought that was the most important one. They weren't at CES, but it hasn't gotten much airplay. And I think that one is worth keeping an eye on, because Rivian has shown the ability to make really good vehicles. And they really apparently have a very clear path on autonomy as well. So we'll see. It's a prove it moment for them in 26, but impressed by what they talked about in December.
They are overachievers over there at NVIDIA, aren't they? It's just amazing. They're so dominant.
Yeah.
You know who
it kind of
was at
feels like
CES?
this is their version of Google's Pixel program, where they wanted to show the manufacturers what's possible with the tools that they're providing them.
Right.
So
Right.
you give this hardware/software pack to a small manufacturer, and you say, what sensors do you have
can
available?
you do?
Plug
Yeah.
them in and see what happens.
Right.
And I love this idea.
What were you saying, Jennifer? What was at CES besides the donut light?
That the IKEA, they made their debut at CES. And I even have an IKEA.
Oh, what's that?
This is IKEA's new Bluetooth speaker that costs $10.
Okay. Does it sound? It's pink.
Compare it with up to 100.
Ooh.
It has a quick pairing button.
Oh, I like that.
I got to demo this. They had 10 in their room. They didn't have 100.
Be fun to put this all over the house, though.
I know. And then, because I was playing music through one, and then you just hit the little button on the top and on the next one, and it pairs to that. And then you just press a button on the next one, and then you just end up with 100 little tiny speakers singing at you.
As an agent of chaos, I approve of this idea.
Does it sound okay? I mean, they're very small.
I mean, it sounded fine in the room
They're not
with
tinny?
9 going.
Yeah.
No, not too tinny. But, $10, a really fun
I
little
know.
gadget. And their main kind of thing, though, was the lighting. And they've moved
You
their
love
smart
these
home.
donut lamps, huh?
The donut lamp.
What is it?
Because
The
they're
Warmblixit?
Warmblixit. Yeah, sorry,
Warmblixt?
this was called the Calsup, if you're looking for the speaker.
Warmblixt?
But so the big thing with IKEA this year is they have just announced that they're moving their entire smart line to Matter over Thread from Zigbee. And they have a new hub. Well, the hub came out a couple years back, but the hub supports Matter and Thread. And so it's just making their smart devices so much simpler. And obviously that's a key part of IKEA's value prop is inexpensive and easy to use. And now with this donut lamp, which actually came out, the first version came out a couple of years ago, and it's viral. It was all over TikTok, and it was actually, you would sell out very quickly.
Do you have any in your house?
No, so they gave me one to take back, but I'm like, I can't fit this in my suitcase.
It's pretty big. Yeah.
It's big.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll go with the tiny Bluetooth speaker, thank you. I'm hopefully going to get one to try, but it comes paired with a Billracer remote, which is their new smart remote. It works over Matter over Thread, but when you get it out of the box, it works. You can use the remote without needing any connectivity. You don't need to connect it to your Wi-Fi or do anything. It's got built-in smarts, so you can adjust the colors and the dimming. And then if you want, you can connect it to Matter platforms. So like use it with Apple Home or SmartThings or Google Home or Alexa. Just a much simpler smart home experience, which is the whole point of Matter, that interoperability and ease of setup. We will see once we get to try it. But they also had a bunch of smart sensors that they just launched that are all super inexpensive. Everything, you can buy like a smart light bulb, a color changing smart light bulb for, I think they said it's going to be about $5, which is, when you think back to when Philips Hue first launched with
it
their
was $100.
$80
Oh, man.
smart
Yes.
bulbs,
Yes.
it's just the smart home is becoming so much more accessible and affordable. And IKEA moving into this space and coming to CES for the first time in its history is kind of a big sign of that shift towards the mainstream here with the smart connected
And just imagine how much fun you're going to have when people come over and you say, have you seen my Warmblixt light that's paired with the Billracer remote on the Gira hub? And people will go,
Very
huh?
good.
Yeah.
Are those inflatable, or are they?
They look
hard
really cute.
plastic?
Is it
They're
a
so
soft
fun.
glow?
Yeah, it sort of has like a frosted not frosted.
I like
yeah,
that. It's an accent
soft
light. It's not a
finish.
reading light.
Right, exactly. But you can do, there's multiple colors you can change it to. It comes, when you pair it, the remote that it's paired to lets you cycle through like 12 different scenes that have been specially designed to look good on the donut lamp. But then you can also choose your own, as well as light, warm to white light, warm to cool white light if you want more. So you could use it for task lighting. I suppose if you can hang it on the ceiling, so you could have like 2 donuts hanging behind you, and that would be nice and bright.
Well, I'm thinking of it in my media room. It would be, I don't want a bright light in there. I want just kind of an ambient glow, and it'd be kind of cool. Can you tie it to what's on the screen? You can get those ambient lights that do that.
Yeah, so those
Hue has
things,
something like that.
Hue has that. And actually, Hue came with a really interesting feature. If you have Hue bulbs, you will probably be very interested interested in this. It's called Spatial Aware, and it uses, so you basically get your phone and you map where your hue lights are in your home, and then it can use, they've remastered their scenes to create the way the light works in the scene to fit into your home. So for example, if you are doing a sunrise scene or a sunset scene, the lights in the front, for example, would be more sort of red and dim, and the lights behind you would be darker and blacker to sort of really emphasize like the feeling of the sunset. And now if you ever use a Philips Hue scene, if you've got sort of say 8 or 9 hue bulbs around your room or some light fixtures, you'll find that one light over here is pink and then the light in the ceiling is blue, and it's all a little kind of random.
Yeah.
Whereas now they've switched with this new spatial aware feature, everything will be much more in tune with the way, and this was a quote from them, the way the lighting designer intended. So it's basically bringing really high-end lighting design into your home. And I did an article on it with a video. It really is hard to describe. You have to see it to really understand the impact, but it is a big difference. So they would cycle through, like this was what the old scene looked like, and then this is what it's like with spatial aware, and it's like night and day. Looks so much better, but you do need the new Hue Bridge Pro for it to work because it uses
Another
more
hub.
processing power. But it is, because I've always struggled a little bit with smart colored lighting. Like you mentioned with the connecting to your TV, that's fun if you've got the right lighting set up to be able to kind of have a bit more of an immersive ambient feel.
Yeah.
But just turning my light bulbs different colors in my sitting room doesn't always, I'm more like warm white and cool white is great during the day, but multicolors never really worked. But this really makes it seem like, wow, actually I can see the purpose of having color changing lighting in my, not just in the gaming room or not just in the TV room, because it just made the room just feel so much more sort of immersive and like enjoyable to be in. So
it's good for lazy husbands, because I don't have to put Christmas lights up. We just have outdoor lighting. I can make red and green, and now I'm done.
There you go.
That was it. Yeah.
I just told my mom about that I could actually put up Christmas lights that could stay up the entire year. And I've never seen her enthusiastic about tech until I told her that.
Really? Oh,
that's my husband too. My husband was a big fan of when I said, here, we've got some permanent outdoor lights you can try. He's like, do you mean I don't have to climb up the ladder every year?
Exactly.
But we'll have to see how long the permanent part actually lasts.
You've actually, you know what? I have to give you credit, Jennifer, because for a long time, home automation, especially at CES, was always like, oh, so close, but not, who's going to really want to spend 15 hours setting all this stuff up, and then it's obsolete the next week, and then it doesn't work the week after that. But I feel like looking, especially at your article of the smart home gadgets that impressed you, we've come a long way, that this stuff is starting to really kind of make sense. Is that right?
Yeah, this really felt like the year the smart home kind of grew up.
Yeah.
It was less about silly, crazy gadgets doing weird things in your home and more about, here, we've made this stuff better. And this stuff works, and this stuff will actually
And it works together, which is a big deal.
It was a great show for smart home standards like Matter and Thread and Alero and even some Z-Wave, and it's like this standardizing things in the smart home has made the issue of interoperability getting closer to going away. And what that translates to is that manufacturers now can focus their efforts on making products less expensive that do more, because they don't have to spend all of their time figuring out how to work with 5 different platforms, which, for most of these manufacturers was a huge amount of work and often didn't work very well. So you ended up with frustrated customers. Now they've got a clear, solid connectivity layer that they can use that connects to all the different platforms. So it means that they can focus their efforts on more features, bringing better things to your smart home devices and making things less expensive. I mean, IKEA's new smart home products that they launched this year are less expensive than their old smart home products that they've had on the shelves for a few years. So it's really a sort of sea change as we sort of see the smart home become more mainstream. And I mean, nothing's more mainstream than IKEA, to be fair. So
wouldn't it be amazing if IKEA was the company that finally made all those alliances worth it?
Yes. Well, this is a good. So I did a panel this year on a Matter panel. We had Amazon, Google, Samsung, IKEA, and Akara were on the panel. And the IKEA guy and I had talked a lot about the Bilsida remote that I mentioned that you use to control the donut lamp, and you can use it to control anything in your
I believe
home.
that's pronounced Bilsida.
So the big issue, though, is that there is one smart home platform that does not support buttons in Matter. And that smart home platform is Google Home. And so the Google Home guy was on the stage. Oops. And I teed up the IKEA guy. I was like, so what's been great about Matter for you, and what have been some of the problems? Like, have there been problems with adoption from the platforms? And he didn't go for it, but but this has been an issue. No one understands why Google does not support buttons. But the guy, he did say to me afterwards, he said, I think he even posted it on LinkedIn. He said there will be once there are millions of buttons in people's homes, IKEA buttons in people's homes, I'm sure Google is going to start.
So when you say a button, what do you mean a button?
So you have smart light switches that's supported in the standard, so on off, but button is a wireless light switch. So essentially,
so it's not like a button, like just a button. It is a term of art for a wireless switch, basically.
So it is a button. I mean,
is it always a button? Okay.
Like this is a button. This is a Philips Hue button.
Yeah. Okay.
And the Bilracer remote is a button. So it's a button because it's not wireless, because it's not wired. So it can be
Does
anywhere.
Apple support buttons?
Yes, Apple does, Amazon does, everyone else
just
does,
Google.
Just not Google. Wow. And this wireless switches are a big part of the smart home, because what's great about them is that you can control, so you can connect it to a light and have it turn the light on and off, but you could also connect it to lights in a different room, or to your robot vacuum cleaner. If you want to press the button and the robot vacuum cleaner starts, you can connect it to anything in your smart home. So it just gives you a lot more flexibility. And because one of the key issues with the smart home to date has been not having physical controls for things. There was too much reliance on voice, which is hard and not always accurate. Having
it's delayed
control,
sometimes
it's delayed.
Delayed is really the most annoying thing when you say lights on and nothing.
And physical controls are so key in the smart home. I'm looking around because I have buttons here that I want to show you. But yes, it makes a big difference to be able to control with physically, because it's not just the person, the tech guru in the home that knows how to control the home. It's everyone in the home that needs to be able to control.
If you're going to replace switches, you need to have something equally good to replace it.
Or better.
It's a pretty good
you want it
interface,
to be better.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah, but if it's not even as good, then it's just a non-starter.
Yeah. So buttons are like we see a lot of really interesting elements, innovations in buttons. And you see, like, if you go into a really high-end home and they'll have a panel like that looks like a switch, but has like 3 different or 4 different buttons that are labeled. And that's essentially that concept, but without needing to wire it into your home. And you can control anything in your home. Press one button and all your lights turn off and the shades go down. Press another button.
So that's instead of a display. I mean, I thought that the high end was like an iPad or a big display hanging on the wall with switches. Not really. People want physical, something that clicks.
Especially in homes, high-end homes.
You feel it in the dark.
They don't want iPads. Yeah, you need something tactile. That's the case as well. So buttons have sort of been on the verge of becoming a thing in the smart home for a while, but have been frustrated by interoperability, because it only really works. A button only works if it works with everything in your home. It's like if I can only turn on half of my lights because these ones don't work with Apple Home and this button, So
but how does the button know? You program the button?
Yeah, you have a button.
And can you do multiple taps?
So yeah, there'll be short press, long press, double press. There'll be lots of different options based depending on which button you have. There are many options out there. But yeah, it's basically something that can control another device wirelessly without being, it's normally battery powered. I've been on a crusade for good buttons for years. So I'm really
excited. Idea. This wasn't
You're
buttons
winning.
weren't on my
You're
radar.
winning. They're getting there.
I'm getting there. I'm excited.
Wait, weren't we told that removing buttons was a bold, visionary
Yeah,
move?
right.
That's right.
There's more buttons. Look, she's got a whole bunch of buttons.
This is the beleza. How do we
Oh,
say
the eraser button. Here it is. Let's see it. No, they say, oh, there it is. Yeah.
There it is.
Okay,
Sorry.
so
I'm still
it's just,
too washed out. I don't know why.
there's no words on it. There's no controls. It's just on or it's just a switch. You
so
push.
there are two. There's one on the top and one on the bottom.
Okay.
And this one's a fairly basic button.
How do people know what the button does?
They also have one that has a scroll wheel, so you can like raise your shades, lower your shades, turn your volume up, lower your volume. That is an issue. What it does is an issue. So if you put this on your wall, you can kind of, in your living room, you kind of assume, okay, it's a light switch. I press it and my lights turn on. I press and hold, my lights dim. But some manufacturers come out with little stickers so that you can like put a little sticker on it to tell you.
Not in a high-end home.
No,
the
high-end homes, they're
traditional
engraved.
buttons.
They're engrave the buttons.
Oh, you need a laser button engraver.
Yeah.
With traditional buttons, you just push the switch and see what it does. I mean, come on.
Who knows what this is going to do? But
this is the thing. You're replacing a switch that goes up for on or down for off. And I have to say, in some countries, it's down for on and up for off. And that's extremely confusing. Right?
But
have you been to those countries?
That's all it could do. This can do so much more. That's the difference.
Okay, let's take.
And also, this is $4, whereas the buttons you could have bought a year ago were $40.
I have Lutron switches all over my house.
Yeah, so you have Pico remotes. Do you have Pico remotes?
I do.
Those are buttons.
That's a button.
That's a button. There you go.
Leo,
I have one of those $35.
I didn't even know I had the buttons.
I guess a remote is the better way of saying it, but it's remote kind of makes it diminishes the concept because you think you remote control one thing with a remote, right?
I've lived here a year and a half, and I still haven't figured out what the buttons do.
Like Leo, go push all the buttons.
It'll come.
I do. I push them. Like there's an on and an off, and then in the middle there's an up and a down, and I'm confused.
Have you tried double tapping?
No, I didn't even know you could.
Do all that.
I don't think you can on the Pico, actually.
Oh.
It doesn't.
All right, let's take a break because you've been very good, boys and girls. And now it's time for the number one CES gadget from Father Robert. Robert?
Number one, the Nvidia Rubin.
Ooh.
Now, let's be clear. There is so much about AI, especially at CES, that is just noise in the hype cycle chamber. I ignore most of it because, well, there's only so many AI-enabled appliances and dancing robots that I can take. However, as part of my day job has me analyzing the AI landscape for significant developments, there was one CES release that caught my attention above all else, NVIDIA's announcement of their new Rubin platform and their Vera Rubin chips. The platform is actually a combination of 6 different components: the Vera CPU, the Rubin GPU, the NVLink 6 switch, the Connect X9 SuperNIC, the Bluefield 4 DPU, and the Spectrum 6 Ethernet switch. By tightly integrating all 6 components, NVIDIA has greatly reduced the bottleneck between each, enabling rack-scale integration. In layman's terms, all the silicon in a Rubin data center spends more of its time processing and less time waiting. In practical terms, Vera Rubin is 3.5 times faster than Blackwell, requires 1/4 the number of GPUs needed for LLM training, and is 10 times more efficient in inference token costs. Again, for my day job, I'm most interested in the fact that it provides 8 times the amount of inference computing power per watt. While AI still requires an enormous amount of power and water for data center scale operations, such a large increase in efficiency with a little tweaking of the silicon is an extremely welcome sign. That's it. While there was plenty of interesting tech at the show, these were my 5 favorite things. If you feel like I left out your favorite, feel free to reach out to me on Blue Sky @PadreSJ. Till next time, I'm Father Robert Ballecer, the Digital Jesuit, closing up CES 2026.
Robert's entire report from CES will be available on our Twit YouTube channel on the news feed, or if you subscribe to our Twit news feed. I love the time lapse, especially the one everybody taking the picture. How did you do that, Robert? That's really cool.
No, so that's part of the CES B-roll.
It's good. I like it.
Does provide some decent high quality footage.
That's a great
I used to do my own time lapses, but theirs are top notch.
Yeah, and you don't want to leave a camera sitting there for hours anyway. That seems like
that's not exciting.
All right, we'll wrap up our CES coverage in just a little bit with Jennifer Pattison-Toohey from The Verge, Jason Heiner from The Deep View at thedeepview.com, and Father Robert Ballecer, the digital Jesuit. Our show today brought to you by NetSuite. Every business is asking the same question these days. How do we make AI work for us? Possibilities are endless, but maybe guessing is a little too risky, and you certainly can't sit on the sidelines. That's not an option. One thing is almost certain. Your competitors are already making their move. They're using AI. You can't wait. With NetSuite by Oracle, you could put AI to work for you today. You've heard of NetSuite. It's the #1 AI cloud ERP, trusted by over 43,000 businesses. It's a unified suite that brings your financials, your inventory, your commerce, your HR, and your CRM into a single source of truth. That connected data, though, is what makes your AI smarter. It doesn't have to guess. It knows. It has the facts at its fingertips and can intelligently automate routine tasks, deliver actionable insights. It can help you cut costs. It can help you make fast AI-powered decisions with confidence. It's because it's not just another bolted-on tool. It's AI built right into the system that's running your business. So whether your company earns millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you stay ahead of the pack. Right now, get NetSuite's free business guide, Demystifying AI, at netsuite.com/twit. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/twit. That's netsuite.com/twit. And we thank NetSuite so much for supporting This Week in Tech. Well, it sounds like this was a good CES to go to. Better than in other years, Jason, you think?
I mean, CES is on an upswing again, certainly because of AI. I felt like there were a number of years there, maybe 2019, 2020. When 2020 was the super spreader event that likely was what spread COVID.
The last CES I went to. Yeah.
It really felt like CS was contracting. It was trying to find its identity, and then it felt like, in a sense, that there was a little bit of a death blow, from the COVID era. And would it bounce back? But really, what has happened the last few years is, the show is up over 145,000 attendees again. There were 4,500 vendors there. There were like over 5,000 press. So that was really the case where CES has, and there is one stat that I saw on LinkedIn. Somebody in PR posted that 80% of the vendors now are either enterprise or they have consumer and enterprise.
See, that's interesting, because even though they don't call it that, maybe the Consumer Technology Association was smart when they said it's just CES. It doesn't stand for Consumer Electronics Show, because it isn't just consumers by any means.
It's not. It really has become an AI show and an enterprise show. There's a whole pavilion that's enterprise now. Obviously, the automotive piece has become a huge part of CES and has been for a while, with autonomous being the key. For a while there, it was focused on really electrification, but it really has moved to be almost entirely about autonomous, or the market, like the accessory market and partner market for auto. So all of that is to say that it is much more of a B2B kind of show than it's ever been, and that seems to be what has made it continue to grow and expand again. At the same time, there's still plenty of things, like as Father Robert and Jennifer have mentioned, like there's still plenty of consumer stuff to be seen, to be experienced. This is the place that a lot of companies are now coming again to launch products, which had really been the case. That's where I was starting to wonder if it had a future, because people had stopped launching products at CES. They were launching them themselves. They were launching them separately. They felt like like it just got lost in the sea of things at CES. And so that's when it felt like it was starting to lose some of its favor. But there were consumer companies, in addition to enterprise companies, actually launching things and announcing them at CES. So it does feel like it's on an upswing. It has some new energy. I don't know if it was the best CES ever. There were years where I remember there were like huge launches, even 10 or 15 years ago. I don't know if anybody remembers sort of a doomed product, but the Palm, they're essentially
the
Palm,
Treo.
The successor to the Treo. What did they? Now I'm
tablet.
No, it was
So
before
sad.
the tablet. The Palm.
Folio.
It was like
Palm Folio.
The Palm Folio. Thank you. So that launched at CES, right? So it was one of the biggest product announcements of the year.
I think it's the Palm Pre you're talking about,
2009.
right? The Palm
He's
Pre.
talking about the
Palm Pre.
pre. Yeah,
That's the
I think you're
one.
right, Benito. That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I
Palm
loved
Pre.
that pre. Yeah.
I did too.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so stinking slow and the software could not work, but remember the charger? It had this like very like this charger that was like a little stone. You just put it on. Like it was a beautifully designed.
That was a gorgeous
product.
device. Yeah.
It truly was. But there's not anything like that's happening, anymore for sure. But there were a lot of things that were pretty real there, and so it is a show that is sort of regaining its. It's
interesting because you know who wasn't there? Apple, Intel, Microsoft.
Intel was kind of there.
Who?
They
Ish.
partner up.
Intel had a.
Intel.
Did they have a keynote?
No, but they had the wrap, the monorail. They had partner things going on.
They bought ads.
And
Actually, you know who bought all the ads? Ohio. Ohio ads were everywhere.
The state of Ohio?
The state of open your business in Ohio. Move to Ohio. They were on every column going to the West Hall.
Okay. I don't really think of Ohio as the next Silicon Valley, but maybe it
technology
is.
Utopia. Do you remember there used to be a time when there was a CES blackout for 2 to 3 months before the show.
You wouldn't
there
get
were
any
no
news.
releases.
Yeah.
And then that started going away. I like that that's coming back. I like to be surprised at the show. I remember that the down year for me was maybe 15 years ago where a quarter of the products were iPhone cases. And that was the rock bottom for me for CES.
Yeah,
and
no kidding.
and like Jason, I think it's on the way up. This was better than last year. The traffic seemed to be more enthusiastic. The people were asking the right questions. Press were actually looking at things that might be future products. So yeah, I actually walk away from most CESs thinking, not much here.
I thought it was interesting. Both Nvidia and AMD made big chip announcements. I mean, that's not where you think of them going to make those big announcements, but they did. You'd think Computex or some, but not there. Car manufacturers is there. Jennifer, it's amazing what has happened with home automation. That used to be. I remember there was a home automation pavilion in the back of the South Hall or somewhere, and it was all just a Tower of Babel. Nobody talked to anybody else. It was Zigbee and Z-Wave, and now it's starting to coalesce as a real technology platform that people are interested in.
Sorry, a quick question to either of you two. Did you make it over to the Foundry?
Only at the very end of the show, and I didn't. What was the point of what
was
were they
the
doing at
Quantum
the
Blue?
Foundry?
Oh yeah, so this was quantum. So quantum is like one of the next big things, but that it had its own. So quantum computing had essentially its own pavilion in the Quantum Blue, which is like the new sort of
That's the new hotel. Yeah. The CES Foundry is where you see AI, blockchain, and quantum innovation. They say.
Right. I wondered. We went and
It's kind of their blue.
Yeah.
It's CES Blue Sky.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah. I did.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of quantum innovation at the Foundry?
There was. So we reported on this in the Deep View. So Nat Rubio-Licht wrote about this and interviewed a bunch of them, and has followed the quantum thing. There are things that quantum can do. So this is another area where some of this chip stuff, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out, because there are things that take a lot of power, a lot of GPUs and all of that, whereas quantum can do it in an absolute fraction of the time to do it. And so there are, but these are obviously, you're not going to use it to solve math problems. You're going to use it to solve like the hardest, most complex things. And so quantum is very real. In terms of when, it's going to be a thing, it's like anywhere from sort of 1 to 3 years. But there are companies that are actually commercializing it now. So this is no longer a lab project. There are companies that are getting a lot closer. It's no longer just IBM talking about it and a couple others. It's getting pretty real. And really with AI, there's a use to put it to. Before we used to think it was only going to be a cybersecurity, algorithms sort of thing. And with AI, where they're being really big computational problems to solve, it's going to have a reason for being, and also a reason to fund it and to make it, make the ROI worth it. So anyway, we do have it was in our newsletter last week, and there's a separate story on the Deep View that details the quantum stuff.
Very interesting. Wow. So yeah, I mean, that shows you that CES is still a cutting edge conference where you're going to hear about stuff that is actually relevant, not just new iPhone cases. We didn't even talk about a lot of new PCs announced, monitors. The Verge picked the LG OLED monitor, which is a beautiful
Lots
monitor.
of lifestyle tech,
what we didn't talk about
tech.
at all?
What?
Which is the origin of CES is the TVs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Normally, it's all about TVs, isn't it?
TVs, yeah.
Was there any big
LG
TV
made a new
news?
screen that's 1 millimeter thinner. Woo!
I keep waiting for micro LED to happen. I think that's the next technology but maybe it's harder for them to get it working than people knew, because they've been showing these giant micro LED screens for almost a decade now without any real consumer products.
It's a great technology.
Central Hall is normally nothing but screens. It's
right.
You've got
In fact, that's where the big main entrance is, and there's usually a waterfall of monitors.
Well, the really interesting thing was Samsung did not have a booth on the show floor.
What?
Yeah. It was in the Win. They essentially had their own pavilion in the in the Win.
So, and they had like a little check-in table in the central hall where you could go and check in to go over to the Win.
Oh,
and
did you ride Elon's little underground tube to get there?
A special Samsung shuttle.
The loop.
But it was one of the Samsung execs I spoke to said that basically they were fed up of doing, well, not fed up, but they said they used to, so they had their big show floor booth, but then they would also have suites full of things in other areres.
Yeah.
So they wanted to just put everything together, and they said they couldn't get a big enough space.
They have so many products.
Yeah. So TCL took over their big space this year.
Oh, interesting.
Which was kind of interesting because one of the stories, we've got a new TV reporter, John Higgins, at The Verge, and he wrote a story about how TCL is kind of coming for Samsung and LG.
Yeah, well, they have been for a while. The Chinese manufacturers. It's funny. It used to be American manufacturers, and then it was Japanese manufacturers, Sony, and then South Korea said, no, we can beat them, and it was Samsung and LG, which used to stand for Lucky Gold Star, and was in the back of the drugstore. And
then
now
they tried to rebrand it as Life's Good.
Life is good.
Life is good.
Life is good.
No, it's still
Life
Lucky
is good.
Gold Star to me. And now it's TCL and Hisense, the Chinese companies who are coming hard after these guys, with lower costs, lower prices, and newer technology. Although
it's all
my sense is that
there, so yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But my sense is that LG's panels are still widely agreed to be the best panels out there, and Samsung.
They're the best.
Yeah,
They're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the Lenovo expanding laptop screen. They've got these rolling screens. The Verge picked one of the keyboard computers. Was it the HP Elite? I can't remember which one you guys liked.
Yeah, people were very excited about that. I'm surprised that idea hasn't happened sooner, honestly.
It's called the Commodore.
Exactly.
I don't
we
get
had it at the beginning.
Is that for your
Atari
coffee table? I don't
2600,
understand.
5200?
Yeah, I don't get that. But at least PC manufacturers are trying new form factors, and that keeps it kind of interesting.
Right now, they're just trying to get memory. That's what they're trying to do.
That's right. Good luck with the RAM, kids.
Wait, I was meaning to ask you about that, Padre.
To Shenzhen, and they're begging for allotments.
I was asking about that, Padre. Like you said, the little box that you got from Nvidia has how much RAM in it?
256 gigabytes.
So that's like what,
But
a
Nvidia's got all
$10,000
the
computer?
RAM. Yeah, they bought all the RAM.
I didn't say it was from Nvidia, by the way. So
No.
just
Oh, right.
No, we don't know whose it was. I love my
a
framework
mystery.
desktop. It was 128 gigs of RAM, and it was very pricey for that. But it would be probably double the cost today, which is amazing.
I squirreled away about half a petabyte worth of memory for some projects that I was doing, and then the memory prices went crazy, and I'm seriously considering just selling it all and banking it until the memory prices come back
You're
down.
doing memory arbitrage, aren't you? I knew
Oh
it.
my goodness!
RAM arbitrage. Well, I want to thank you guys. You made this a very interesting show, and you made CES sound like a very interesting event, which is in the past not always been easy. Thank you so much, Jennifer Pattison-Toohey, senior technology reviewer at The Verge, where she covers smart home, at Smart Home Mama on the Blue Sky. Your husband will probably have something to celebrate a little later on tonight. So break out some champagne.
Okay.
I'm just giving you a hint. My wife,
In the sported light.
get the buttons ready. We're ready to have a party. Break out the buttons and the little $10 speaker.
Ooh, we can partay.
Jennifer is a regular pate on Tech News Weekly with Micah Sargent every month, and we just love having you on. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah, I'm on
Really
this
appreciate
Thursday,
it.
I think. So lots more
Oh,
CES.
wonderful. Well, listen, Thursday we'll have more CES information, maybe more buttons will make their appearance. Mr. Jason Heiner, it's always a pleasure. I really appreciate you giving us a quick preview on Wednesday on Intelligent Machines and the in-depth preview, but that's because you're the EIC at the Deep View. Free to subscribe? I keep asking you that.
That's right.
I don't understand.
That's
How does that? How can that
Yeah.
be?
I mean, it's a newsletter. That's our primary thing with about 500,000 subscribers.
Nice.
It's only been around for 2.5 years. They've built something really amazing, and I left ZDNet to come to the Deep View to work on covering AI every day and to build a next generation media company. So we're a newsletter today, but also lots more to come.
As usual, Jason, you're on the cutting edge. I think this is absolutely the future. Very, very exciting.
Thanks for having me, Leo.
Yeah,
Always a
it's great
pleasure to see you. My
Always a pleasure. And Father Robert Balasaire, the digital Jesuit, Padre SJ on Blue Sky. Look for his Jesuit Pilgrimage app on iOS and Android too.
And Android.
Android.
Yes. You can hear my voice if you listen to enough of the stories that come through the app.
Yeah. And the Flipper Zero that I gave you, don't bring that to the mayoral inauguration. Apparently New York City's banned Flipper Zeros. Just want to let you know.
I saw that, and that's a little strange. Although I've disguised mine because my Flipper now wears a clerical collar. So
Yeah. It's been ordained. Well,
it has been.
Anything you want to plug? Anything going on in the world of Father Robert?
A whole bunch going on. I just got back from the Holy Land and from the Middle East. The next
How
couple
fun.
of weeks, I'll be all over the Midwest of the United States, then probably down in Puerto Rico, in Belize. Got to make a couple of stops in South America, probably heading to Venezuela.
Are you on a
towards the
mission?
start of
Really
February.
going to Venezuela?
There's a bunch of stuff that needs to get taken care of. So, yeah.
Well, my goodness. Okay.
So if you see me, it means I'm still alive.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, be careful in Venezuela. Wow.
praying for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's different. It's different. But Leo, it's always great to come back. It feels like coming home.
Yeah, we love having you on, Father Robert. All three of you, you're three of my favorite people. Catch Father Robert's full CES coverage on the Twit News feed or on YouTube, youtube.com/Twit News. I can't remember, but anyway, go to youtube.com/Twit. You can find it there. Hey, everybody, Leo Laporte here with a little bit of an ask. Every year at this time, we'd like to survey our audience to find a little bit more about you. As you may know, we respect your privacy. We don't do anything. In fact, we can't do anything to learn about who you are. And that's fine with me. I like that. But it helps us with advertising. It helps us with programming to know a little bit about those of you who are willing to tell us. Your privacy is absolutely respected. We do get your email address, but that's just in case there's an issue. We don't share that with anybody. What we do share is the aggregate information that we get from these surveys. Things like 80% of our audience buy something they heard in an ad on our shows, or 75% of our audience are IT decision makers. Things like that are very helpful with us when we talk to advertisers. They're also very helpful to us to understand what operating systems you use, what content you're interested in. So enough. Let me just ask you, if you will, go to twit.tv/survey26 and answer a few questions. It should only take you a few minutes of your time. We do this every year. It's very helpful to us. Your privacy is assured, I promise you. And of course, if you're uncomfortable with any question or you don't want to do it at all, that's fine too. But if you want to help us out a little bit, twit.tv/survey26. Thank you so much. And now, back to the show. Thank you, Jennifer, Robert, Jason. Thanks to all of you. A special thanks to our Club Twit members. Without your support, we would not be around, to be frank. If you're not yet a member, please do check it out, twit.tv/clubtwit. You get ad-free versions of all the shows and a lot of extras. Our AI user group is really beginning very interesting. I think it's some of the best AI coverage out there right now. And your support makes all that possible. twit.tv/clubtwit. We do This Week in Tech every Sunday, 1400 UTC Pacific time. That's 1700, not UTC, 1400 Pacific time, 1700 East Coast time, but that is 2200 UTC. And I say that because you can watch it live. We stream this live in our Club Twit Discord, of course, for our club members, but also on YouTube, Twitch, X.com, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Kick. So if you want to watch live and chat with us live, visit any one of those sites between about 1400 and 1700 Pacific time on a Sunday. After the fact, on-demand versions of the show available at our website, twit.tv/twit, or on YouTube, youtube.com/thisweekintech. That's for the audio only, but it's a great way to share clips if you see something you want to tell somebody about. After the fact, on-demand versions of the show also available by subscription, and it's free. Just find your favorite podcast client and subscribe. That way you'll get Twit the minute it's done. Thanks to our producer and technical editor, Mr. Benito Gonzalez. Thanks to all of you for being here. And we'll see you next time. Another Twit is in the can.
This is amazing.
Doing the Twit.